5 seconds starting now. Hey guys, welcome to episode 75 of 4PlayerAnimecast. I'm your host Spire, and it is the 26th of August. We were starting to get into fall. I believe we will have, again, the preview podcast for the fall 2017 season in about 2 episodes. So next one on the 9th will be a regular podcast episode where we'll wrap things up. And then on, I believe, the 23rd of September, we'll have our fall preview show. And that'll work out because I believe some of the earliest series is starting the week after, which is September 30th. So yeah, watch out for our preview podcast in about a month or so. But we're still chugging through a lot of these series. We have a surprising number of series.
Self Spire, some of these series are pretty good.
I mean, I'm not saying whether they're good or bad, but we've had more to talk about than we've done, in a lot of previous seasons where it's like we're either just we say we didn't watch it or it was mediocre or like there's nothing to talk about, it's just a ripoff or whatever. There's like a bunch of ideas flying around this season, whether they're good or bad. That's another question.
How can you say it's mediocre if it has over 100 million views
I fucking hate you, Toast.
on what's it called?
Numbers don't lie, dude.
Shosetsu, right?
Shosetsu Ninaro.
Yeah, Shosetsu. Yeah, Shosetsu. What Toast talk about? Shosetsu is the popular. It's actually the number one like web novel site. Imagine it like fanfiction.net. If any of you guys have heard about that, times about 1 billion.
Oh, you want to see my fanfiction.net account? I got one.
No.
Let me pull some up from over 10 years ago.
You know how it's like that fucking Wikipedia story or like that fucking like rags to riches story about how Twilight or like one of the other books or like related to Twilight was written as like fan fiction originally, and then it became like some sort of like that's it became what it is now, right? Or 50 Shades of Grey, I believe that it was, right? Something like that. But yeah, Shosetsu is essentially like that, on a obviously much smaller scale. Like super popular novels on that site can end up being contacted by the editors or whatever, being turned into animes, being turned into light novels, manga, whatever, stuff like that. So it's an interesting business. It's quite a lot of gray area. Again, also like how Comic Con runs. So anyways, that's neither here nor there. So I want to quickly introduce our co-hosts. Nier.
Hello.
Back
Nier.
from
Are you dead?
Yeah.
Nice.
He's always been dead inside. So anyways,
where were you last week, Nier?
Yeah. He was behind that Canadian flag in the overlay, dude.
I was probably sleeping.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Were you hiding behind the Canadian wall that they built?
Yeah, I wish.
God. All right.
I heard there was some sort of a region locking on Twitch by Canada that they could not access forever.
Sure. Yeah, let's go with that.
Ah, cool.
Anyways, what have you been up to recently?
Not a whole lot. I've been pretty busy with stuff. I've been trying to level an alt in Final Fantasy.
Oh.
That's pretty fucking tedious. And a lot of Monster Hunter World stuff has been coming out.
Yes.
So I've been combing over that because Monster Hunter is pretty cool. It's a pretty cool game. Other than that, I've been kind of keeping up with Made in Abyss. I haven't watched the latest episode. Some people seem kind of unhappy with it. Something about the animation, but and I picked up just recently. I picked up Ballroom e Yokuso, or Welcome to the Ballroom. It's a show by Production IG. It's pretty good.
I'm actually pretty salty again that you managed to end up watching it before I did, but then I fucking committed to the wrong shit these 2 weeks. So
yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay.
What I would like to know is how do they reach their food on the toppest branches of the tallest tree?
Well, You see, when people start dancing, their necks multiply by about 2.5 times, and the harder you dance, the longer it gets. So eventually, you can reach the top of the tree.
Nice.
Giraffes are just like ascended dancers. That's
Yeah.
how it works. Anyways,
Did you know,
again, we'll
did
be.
you know giraffes have like purple adhesive tongues that they use to
Yes.
pick
So, like,
out?
Yeah, just like dancers.
Yeah.
just like dancers.
They have their tongues are between 18 to 20 inches long.
Are you just reading a Wikipedia article about giraffes right now, Toast? What's going on?
Much like their necks, giraffe tongues are exceptionally long, usually measuring between 18 and 20 inches long. They're also prehensile, which means giraffes have fine-tuned muscular control over it.
All right. Anyways, thank you for the giraffe trivia. We'll be talking a little bit more about ballroom a bit later,
Was
but
there
we'll also.
was there a giraffe character in Kimono Friends?
All right, we're gonna move on. Dark.
No.
What have you been up to recently?
Well, I've just been kind of keeping up with stuff. Boruto's been good. Boruto's pretty good.
You keep bringing this up like I want to talk about this, but I really don't.
I need to catch up with Boruto.
I mean, the fight,
Well,
the
what,
most recent fight wasn't that great, but I mean,
which fight are you
fun
talking
show.
about? Did they fight the
Oh.
dude, the fancy dude, or the fat dude?
It's Sasuke versus eyeball boy, the eyeballing.
No.
He's
Are
got
there
all the
like a
eyeballs.
billion people with weird eyeballs in Naruto right now?
Yeah, he's pretty much like the guy is pretty much just like, yo, we had that guy. Was it Donzo? The one where he had the arm of eyeballs.
The old dude? Yeah.
Yeah, they were like, what if we just had a guy like that, but he's not Donzo, and he's like kind of a fucking weirdo, and he's got no teeth.
But,
Nice.
There you go.
But Dark,
Yeah, okay.
all Kekkei Genkai Ai jutsus are derived from the Rinnegan, so they're all the same in the end.
Well,
Same.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I don't know. There hasn't been much going on other than new stuff. Hinalagi's been good. Been thinking a lot about Anne Happy for no reason.
Because
After
it,
I don't know
Hinalagi?
why.
Like after watching Hinalagi, you mean?
No, I've just been kind of thinking about it.
because it makes you happy.
Because it's fucking. We haven't had I don't know. I've just been trying to think about shows that were kind of like super hits almost, I guess. It's like you didn't expect anything from that, and I'm curious to see if there's going to be a new show like that.
So like pleasant
Wanna-
surprise kind of stuff, or like what are you talking about?
Yeah, very pleasant surprise. Like, and Happy was surprisingly very good, and I wasn't expecting it to be, and it is. And I can't say that that's happened in even before that in a few seasons. So I'm curious to see what the next season is.
Was it the same with Sasha Sanya, which was a similar?
Yes, actually,
a
and it
similar
was also
tone. I'm not gonna say it's a similar story, but it's a similar tone that came out with.
Yeah, same season too, I think actually.
Yeah, that's
Hey.
why I keep remembering.
So
Okay.
stay tuned to the previews. Maybe there'll be something there that catches your eyes, and this time it won't be gamers.
God. Anyways, again, maybe you'll want to bring up an old series in a bit, but last but not least, I guess I didn't talk about myself, but I'll put myself last. But Toast,
Huh?
what have you been up to recently?
Same.
Apparently, there's this campaign quest on PSO2 where if you do a Buster quest and Advanced quest, you get Star Gems later on. So I've been doing that.
Okay. What have you been up to in the
Also,
land of anime?
also today is National.
PSO2 is anime.
Yeah, man.
It had a show and everything.
Also, today is National Dog Day, so
All right, Toast.
These dog things.
What did you think about the Conquer English stuff?
you bring that up because I still don't know whether or not it's either I'm way indifferent towards Nagato's voice actor or I forget
Way
it.
indifferent. Well, no. If you're considering it, you're not indifferent, right?
You know that thinking emote I've been spamming the past 3 days? It's like that.
So you're considering whether you want to make peace with it, is what you're saying.
It's like I like Mutsu's voice actor, it's fine, but with Nagato, I can't tell whether it's because I like it, her English dub voice actor, or it's because I have a high affinity towards Nagato in general that I can like subconsciously ignore it. It's I've been
So you're
struggling with
trying
it
to
for the
like
past week or
survive the
so.
pain with your love for Nagato. Is that what you're
It's
telling
like
me?
yeah, it's like I don't know whether I like it or I'm just tolerant towards it. That's why I need a second or third opinion towards it.
Well, you made me fucking watch that shit, but in general,
I
that stuff
mean,
seemed pretty funky. So
I also like how they made a Haruna, who's supposed to sound the youngest, she sounds the oldest.
they
That
all
was pretty cool.
sound like fucking like 30 plus years old, dude. Because the voice actors are either just doing their own voices, they're are either doing their own voices or they're fucking doing falsettos. There's
I also
no
liked
one in
how
between.
they've been calling Oichi the entire time, even though the only person who calls
Yeah, isn't that a
Oichi is
nickname?
Kitakami. Yeah, Nagato called her Oichi. Everyone else has called her Oichi, and I'm like, that they never say that's just a nickname, man.
So, what was the series you actually want to talk about later?
You mean Fate Apocrypha? Because that show is kind of.
No, I meant this. Well, I mean, you can give a really quick comment about
No,
Fate.
you're not allowed to because you fucking. I watched that, and the host said he's not talking about it, so he's not allowed to.
Yeah, Toast said in our
Fucking baited me into watching that show. I was like, all right.
I mean,
thumbs.
do you want me to talk about En Musubi no Yoko-chan? Because I also watch that.
No. Well, you can talk about what you want to talk about
All
in our
right, so
discussions.
I mean, I watched Smartphone. That one's all right.
Mhm. Okay, so we'll be able to cover that, and we did again talk about that a little bit in our Knights of Magic discussion, right?
No,
Probably for
What do you
like
mean?
5 seconds. We did.
No, we definitely talked about it a little
We
bit,
definitely talked about it because we talked about isekais.
and we just talked
okay.
about a little bit of the distance because Knights of Magic hides it a little bit behind the mecha and stuff like that. But Isekai, I mean, smartphone is just full like pretty much as vanilla Isekai as things get, plus or minus some like different levels of drama.
I don't know, man. It's actually pretty good, as evidenced by that one commenter that I linked you guys.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that a little bit more later. But yeah,
So
okay.
what
So
did you watch, Spire?
yeah, so again, I bet very poorly on some theory, and I ended up watching Cleon and Akari, which I believe it's like the Lights of the Cleon or something like that translated, or some, or and then a Cleon is like a type of fish, by the way. It's like
It's a
some.
sea slug, you liar.
Oh really? It's a sea slug?
It's a
Yeah.
sea
I
slug.
don't know.
It's a small
Okay.
floating sea slug
Dude, they didn't even talk about the
in
sea
the
slug.
family Cleonidae,
Not
the sea
important.
angels.
The girl talks about fucking pufferfish in the series. God damn it! All right. Anyways,
Pufferfish is
that
not a sea slug, Spire.
yes, I know. And the other one I watched was Konbini Kareshi. So
Which one is that? The one where the anthropomorphized like 7
and
Elevens?
no, that would be
No.
much cooler. That would be much cooler. Um,
Oh, lame.
Cleo no Akari. Let me start from the first one. Cleo no Akari is just a quick like sort of imagine like the sort of premise slash drama created from Koe no Katachi, but like the author wasn't really smart enough to like develop the characters well or resolve any of its drama very well. And then he was just like, haha, they're just kids, kind of thing, which is not really an excuse. I mean, like, there are certain ways that kids can act, of course, but uh, there's a difference between kids bullying and doing whatever and acting like fucking like if they don't take out this kid through bullying, like they're gonna get spanked by their mothers or something. Like it's very like Cleo Nakate is like uh a series about a bullied child that later has some conditions that she needs to deal with her friends and stuff like that. And the main character is a boy and a girl who sit near this girl, and make friends with her, and go out on like trips and stuff like that, whatever, and find out more about her. Have to deal with both the bullying of the classroom, when they bully the poor girl, and then they also have to deal with her own situations when she's off doing whatever, right? The issue is it's like they just kind of like kids just like do things, and I know the whole like kids are stupid, kids just do things is like a meme, but it's like there's a difference between kids just being like going over there, like maybe like whacking somebody or whatever. Maybe that's like an elementary school thing. I think these guys were like in middle school, high school, or something like that. I don't know, but like they're just doing whatever, and then like full on like, oh, let's fucking like blame everything on this person. Like, let's fucking like chase this person out of the room, lynch her or whatever. Like the fuck, like, uh, like you don't. Again, this is the issue with creating artificial drama, right? Through these character interactions, instead of letting the character interactions themselves create whatever drama, because it's like they're just trying to, up the ante, and it just ends up being looking like, all these kids are just being mean for like zero reason. And like the first episode, everybody's just like, "Hey, that fucking girl stinks," and that literally goes on for like a minute. Like he's just like, like insults or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's
And I'm
me.
just yeah. And then what is it? It's like uh they like they're like, "Hey, what do you think? Did she say blah blah blah?" And it's like maybe the first round of bullying, I'm like, "Oh, I guess I can kind of see it or whatever." And then they like, it continues or whatever. They start like giving explanations for why they, continue to bully, which was just like first of all, she didn't do anything to the bullying, right? And it was just like she was completely normal, but then they just decided to bully her for some reason. So the author started explaining why they were bullying her, and the reason was this: they were bullying her because if she wasn't the target, then somebody else would be the target. I'm just like, that makes no sense.
It could
You don't,
happen
Damn.
to anyone.
you don't fucking like nobody, no kid like kid in class just like rolls dice and one day it's like, oh, it's Tuesday, time to roll, time to bully this motherfucker. Like that's not how this stuff works. Like there are weird kids in the class that people bully. Like that's not
Wow,
like
sounds like the logic of a bully.
yeah, caught me. But it's like it, the moment I heard that, I was just like, yeah, this author just like not only like has completely forgotten about all his own like school memories, experiences for some reason. He probably blotted them out or something. But he also like just doesn't have an idea of like what he's dealing with in terms of like, kid psychology or like, even just general character interactions. But he's trying to create a series about kids, bullying stuff, which is a sensitive topic, to be quite honest, because it's like, kids are developing, both physically and mentally, and it's not like an issue where it's not like a rom-com thing, where it's like, oh, they're just gonna act this way and then they're gonna raise these flags and get with each other. That's not what you want to do. And that sort of thing really kind of bothered me. It's like, and the series also kind of like flip-flops between doing some fucking bullshit like trying to have like a serious like interaction, and then suddenly they're just going on a trip and they're being happy because that's what kids do. They just have trips and enjoy life together, and it's like a whole like non-Biori kind of chill cast kind of thing for like 9 minutes, and then you're like, okay, and then randomly just like bad stuff happens. But then the bad stuff starts turning into like a comedy stick. Like there's this one thing in episode 7 where like the bullies appear, and then the bullies like block the kids' way, right? Which is like fine, and then they have like start having like a competition with each other, right? And then for some reason, like one of the kids starts tapping his foot, and it starts turning into like a dance number. Like I'm not kidding. Like it turns into a dance number. They start like singing a song about them being
What?
like the Takoyaki brothers or something like that. I'm just like, what's going on? What's happening in this series right now? what kind of tone do you want to set for this
Fuck,
series?
dude, that's all the way in episode 7.
Yeah.
I need to I need to watch that
I'm
because
just
I need
like,
to see what that's fucking weird.
I'm just like, what could have possibly possessed the author, the studio, the director, like anybody involved with writing this, even think about doing something like this? Like, it's a very fucked up. It was sort of fucked up because it's like I want this to be cool. I want like something like Koen no Katachi, where it's like, it deals with bullying in a more sort of mature way, a slower way, and instead of just it's a fucking meme. um, Konbini Karashi, on the other hand, was another miss. I thought it'd be more just like episodic, like omnibus style, like Amagami or Citizen Children, I believe, is also omnibus. But
Is that the one with the sweet memes? Series of their children?
you can ask Dark about those memes. But
I like memes.
yeah,
I don't
You don't like memes?
know.
Are you are
I
you
love-
are you
not.
trolling me, Oni-chan?
Anyways, it's not omnibus format, but all the pairings sort of are there. So it is, as you can sort of tell from like these sort of like pairings and stuff. It's a much more like a shoujo feel. It is essentially like a shoujo series, but it has like like a marmalade layer of like uh fujoshi stuff on the top with like boys just being like, "Hey," and, like this is another complaint that I'm gonna say later, but it's like the dude's like in the first episode, the dude and the MC and the sidekick, or like one of the main pairings, and uh boyfriend and the sidekick like are just walking out of the house. It's like, hey man, I was cool. Can I get in your bed tonight or whatever? It's like you realize that guys don't talk like this, right? like like you could have made it slightly less obvious. But anyways,
Obviously, you've never been in a situation that.
they required me to get in some other guy's bed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I apologize.
Just go to the convenience store with a couple of bros, and you're like, "Hey, bro,
Can I get in your bed
can I get in your bed?"
That's me every Tuesday, dude.
yes. But yeah, it was weird. But that's not so much the problem I had with it. It's like the usual Fujo stuff slash the usual shoujo stuff. The shoujo stuff is like very standard. But the major issue I had with the Konbini Karashi was just that oh, because it's like there's a reason why the omnibus format exists, right? Because it's to compartmentalize each sort of relationship and focus on them so they get the proper developments, right? Even though they exist in the same sort of setting. But not having they didn't have the omnibus format, but they still try to do all the pairings sort of like simultaneously. So it's like you see like a couple of minutes of one sort of development occurring, and then some other development cutting to another development, and then they cut to like a third development. I'm just like, what? Like, I know like you want to do all these pairings, but like you should have just done an omnibus format. So it was kind of fucked up trying to get wind of like all these developments happening at the same time, and I'm just like, realistically, yes, it like this is a thing that happens. Like things happen at the same time, but to a viewer that is trying to comprehend like literature or art or whatever, like you don't want to suddenly bombard them with a billion different pieces of info, right? Like, and then work each one of them out like a micrometer at a time. That's not how this should. So I didn't really like the format, but that was about it. It was like pretty mediocre overall. Cleon was the one I just wanted to point out because it was not Gucci. But yeah, anyways, that's
So
my
so you're saying it wasn't very angelic because Cleo's a sea angel?
god damn it. It was
That was a fucking
this
stretch
is
if I've
this is
ever.
our segue, by the way. And with that, we're gonna be moving on.
Speaking of angels, you know what angels are? They're pretty graceful. You know what's graceful? Ballroom dancing.
Nice.
Shit, dude. Pretty
So,
good.
Pretty good.
Angels have long necks. Known
that,
fact.
They
Jesus.
because angels eat only the tallest leaves on on the trees, so they
Did
need
you know?
long necks.
Gee.
Why do you
Yeah.
think they stand on their tiptoes when they ballroom dance?
Oh my god.
Ah,
Oh my goodness. All right, we need to actually move on. Nier, you did say you watched Ballroom Yukoso or Welcome to the Ballroom. Uh,
I did indeed.
how did you find it? You want to
Okay.
give us a really quick summary and then
So Welcome to the Ballroom is an anime, believe it or not.
is it about
By
rooms with balls in them?
yeah, that's what it's about. It's by Production IG,
mhm,
who's pretty well known studio, I guess you could
somewhat,
say.
somewhat.
They're all right, you know.
It's okay. Yeah.
They make some okay stuff. Um,
You ever hear of that that cool game, Tales of Symphonia? They did stuff for that.
Yeah,
sure.
IG does a lot of stuff, but anyway.
Yeah. This is a very much a sports anime, so I would
No, so it is. I had like an inkling of it, but it is essentially a full sports anime.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, the
I thought
guy,
it could have taken. I thought it could have taken a more sort of
Is ballroom dancing actually a sport though?
yeah.
Doesn't have to be a sport to be a sport anime.
ballroom dancing can be pretty competitive actually. I've known some friends who got very into it, but it's like it's weird. But anyways, the point we know what you're talking about. But what I was gonna say was I thought it would take like a weird sort of mix between sort of you know how like music series kind of work out with or music related series. Not necessarily like sort of the more modern rom-com heavier type like Your Lie in April, but something a little bit more slower paced like Nadaba Kintable.
Hmm.
And I thought it'd be something like a mix between that and like Yuri on Ice kind of thing. But I guess it turned out just to be a more regular sports series.
It's pretty sports. Like
Mhm.
the guy joins the club. He goes, he gets inspired by the big badass pro guy, and he's like, I want to be like you. I want to be a professional.
Mhm.
And he goes through the rigorous training, and his determination pulls him through, and
Mhm.
you know, it's the usual.
Don't you mean his long neck or his determination pulls his neck? Ah,
You okay?
I don't even know what the fuck he just said. Oh,
I was trying to make a joke, but you said his determination pulls him through, and then I was thinking,
Yeah,
long
I know what
necks,
you were. I know what you were trying to do, but
just like they pulled it.
Not like
no, I don't think you. I don't think you pulled that one off.
Nice,
oh
nice.
shit.
can we
Anyway,
move on? Yeah.
anyway,
Anyways.
uh, the most comparable thing I would do, like the most immediate comparison to Welcome to the Ballroom would be obviously Haikyuu, which is also by Production IG.
Okay.
Um, it's very nice looking, um, as would be expected from Production IG. But
Yeah.
so it starts off with the main character being he's unmotivated, right? He has no real
Yeah.
he doesn't know where he wants to go in
He's just like a
life.
regular dude. I mean, that's like
Yeah,
the standard premise stuff. Yeah.
it's
Before.
your standard protagonist. He's like, well, I've got no real aims in life, and he wants something to strive for. He wants something to be in his life so he can be more of a I
Like
don't
a
know.
quiz club.
I don't know if admirable is really the word, but
More respectable.
he wants more of a change in his life. He wants direction
Yeah.
essentially,
Okay. No. Yeah. No.
and
I know. You know.
he just so happens to see this cute girl walk into uh, a ballroom uh, like lessons studio, and he goes, "Wow, ballroom dancing, that's fucking gay." And
That's
some
totally for me.
some bullies try to steal some money from him in front of the studio, and then this cool, handsome man saves him, and he pulls him into the
I
studio,
guess so.
and
Does he beat up the bullies with his ballroom dancing?
yeah,
Nice.
he dances around, and the bullies are like, "Man, this guy's fucking gay. Gotta get out of here."
This guy is dancing circles all around us.
But he kind of just gets pulled into wanting to dance because he watches a DVD of competitive ballroom dancing, and he gets uh, entranced by it, and
Drawn into it.
and then he asks to become a pro, and then the professional guy's like, "It's not that easy, kid," and he makes him do this super boring exercise all night, and then
Yeah, so it is devolving into
What
more
kind
of
of
a sports
is
thing.
it like the
yeah,
thing with
it's very sports.
is it like the Takamura thing where he told Ippo to grab 5 leaves?
What?
Don't you remember like Ippo was like, "Wow, I want to do boxing," and Takamura was like, "No, you got to learn the jab. If you can grab 5 leaves."
Oh, well, he does like a basic steps thing, and the
Yeah, I mean,
professional
it's
guy
everybody
says,
has that like initial training thing going on.
yeah, he says like do it until you're, or I'll do it until I say you can stop, and he ends up doing it all night because the guy falls asleep, and and then they introduce the rival character, and it just so happens the rival character is dancing with the girl that he likes, and
Mhm.
uh,
And he gets
and,
motivated.
and yeah, he finds his motivation, and then the rival character's leg gets injured, and
Whoa!
He has to sub in.
he subs in
Mhm.
and he dances with the girl he likes, and they're doing this weird thing where the main character, like, he'll see the dance and then he can uh kind of do it, like he can kind of mimic
Like photographic
what
memory or
yeah
something.
what the other person's doing, and that's the way he learns to dance. Like he can't really be taught by being lectured or anything like that. He has to watch the actual dance and then do it himself. You know, he's got that dancing autism. But
Does he have the god of dancing within his
yeah,
body?
yeah, he's his great ancestors of dancing, just like the great
Just channeled their
ancestors
soul into him.
of
Yeah,
Airsoft.
it's like
Um,
a Shaolin King shit.
but yeah, he subs in, and the rival gets mad at him because he like steals his choreography or something because he was watching him, and then even with the injured leg, the rival dances again and then passes out on the floor, and then he gets suspended for 6 months because you're not allowed to have somebody sub in when you're dancing.
Oh, okay.
And and then in the most recent episode I watched, they bring in a new rival character, and
Damn it, so many rival
then he
characters.
wants to dance with the girl he likes because
The
he likes
fuck?
her, and then the main character gets partnered with the guy that wants to dance with the girl he likes sister, and
Oh, so like the misunderstanding stuff happened?
well, I guess, but it's like the guy that wants to dance with the girl he likes has danced with his sister like since they were kids or whatever,
Yeah.
but because he wants to dance with this other girl, the main character gets partnered up with his sister. So
Oh, okay.
so
So
they're like so they're competing with each other, but then they have this like already established connection with each other kind
like
of
I'm
thing.
not gonna, I'm not gonna take you take the sister kind of thing.
Yeah,
It's a little bit fucked up when I say it, but it's understandable.
yeah.
But okay, so what what are your sort of obviously if, aside from the whole like sports series thing, what do you think about the series as a whole, and what do you think about it as a sports series? Like,
Um. Well, I don't watch very many sports series, so
wow, that's a
um,
shame.
because I mean, sports series are very uh
An
samey,
acquired
I
taste.
guess.
An acquired taste.
Like, yeah, they usually follow under more or less like the same kind of
Is there
flow,
like
right?
two regions of, or two different types of sports series? There's like competitive sports and then there's like slice of life sports. You know what I'm talking about?
What do you mean by slice of life sport?
Like
I want you to elaborate a little bit more.
Shizuka and
Well,
what?
maybe
Like Shizuka I would follow that under slice of life sports. Is there like some sort of big goal that the main character has in this series? Like, I want to go to the big
Yeah.
ballroom
Well,
dancing tournament.
he wants to be a professional. He wants to be like
So it's
the dancing
competitive then.
instructor. Yeah, it's.
All
I
right.
mean, they're going into competitions, so yeah, it's a competitive
So
sport.
for like slice of life sports, are you just talking about sort of it has like a theme and then they're
There's
just kind of
sports elements,
touching it?
but it's not like the main.
It's just kind of like touching up on it every once in a while
Yeah,
or
like
something like that.
like Shizuka. That's like the only comparison I can think of right now.
Okay, that's true.
Or
But yeah, yeah, it's probably more like competitive sports.
yeah, it's. I mean, like I said earlier, it's pretty comparable to something like Haikyuu.
Mhm.
Alright.
Mostly, I mean, I mostly make that comparison because that was like production IG/show. But um, yeah, it's very very much your standard competitive sports anime, but um, it's got some pretty good comedy in there. The characters are pretty likable, so there's that. Like I said, I don't watch too many sports anime, so like I can't be like, oh man, this does the competitive aspect so much better than this other show because like I don't really have much of a background
Right,
on
right,
that.
right,
So
right.
um, all I can say is it's kind of weird just listening to the characters kind of talk about the way like the ballroom dance kind of works.
How specific is so first of all, tell me if there's a lot of ballrooms. I mean, obviously but it's like tell me if it's like a lot about like specific ballroom stuff. And then second of all, tell me if it's well integrated. That it's not just like trivia sprinkled around, but it's like, specific things that, tie directly into what they're doing, what they're going to be doing, stuff like
Do they do a
Um,
reverse fleckeril or a chasse reverse turn?
Or a kickflip.
yes, they do. They do chasses and turns and stuff.
All
But
right.
they usually sprinkle that stuff in when he's like practicing. They don't fucking like it's not when they're doing the competition stuff that they're like, oh, here's all this trivia shit. Because when
Okay.
they're doing the competition stuff, uh, this is kind of what I was saying, where it's a little weird because they do the typical sports thing where it's like, oh, it's so like he has so much passion, right?
Mhm.
But it's like dancing, right? So you kind of have to be passionate when you're dancing, right?
Yeah.
So it's weird to be like, whoa, he's so passionate, and
Saying
then
two
it's showing them dancing, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not too much like super specific trivia. They go into like, how there's the amateur league, and then there's you go up to the professional and stuff like that. They go into like different categories. Like there's Latin, there's waltz, there's standard, stuff like that. But they don't go into like how exactly dances are graded or uh, how judges really view certain things. It's
Like more like specifics, and then the
yeah,
specifics that would matter for like a tournament.
yeah.
Or
They
or
kind of
competition, rather.
go, whoa, he's like dancing with so much passion, and then the crowd
Ah,
the crowd
so it's
cheers and
There's no.
so it's more like one of those like music series in a sense, right?
So there's no
uh
like East
yeah.
German judge jokes where it's
Where
like,
it's
and
like
the East German judge only gives 9.2 instead of a 10.
eh,
None of that.
it,
Well, I haven't
it,
seen any of that yet. No.
Oh.
so what I'm suggesting is like a lot of music series these days, or like classical music series rather, have the whole like competition thing going on, and so that like the way things are evaluated in general, not just at the competition or like among the cast, is just like how much passion do they have, or how much willpower, determination, blah blah blah, all that shit, right? And then they evaluate the art based upon that or whatever. So is it sort of like that?
Um. Well, because I mean, in music stuff, you tend to have that sort of theme of like like how Shigatsu had the following it by the book or being passionate and
Yeah.
going with your heart kind of thing. They
So it
don't
has that. It doesn't have that contrast.
do that. They
Oh, okay.
don't go with that. Oh, he's dancing by the book, because that's like, what does that even fucking mean, right? You're dancing, right? You're
So, but then they still have this catchphrase of like passionate.
Yeah, they're more using the passionate thing because like earlier in that scene, like I was talking about, the guy subbed in and he quote unquote stole the guy's choreography, so he
Mhm.
wanted to kind of show him up. So he really like was kind of trying to show off, and he ends up like he has an injured leg during it, so they're kind of driving home the point, like, you know he's like so into this dance, it doesn't matter if his leg is injured because
Right.
he can do all this crazy shit. um but yeah, they don't do that whole by the book versus passion thing, um
Okay.
which, I mean, it's kind of nice. uh,
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's as long.
there's a lot of that in sports stuff, so
Yeah. Okay, so
uh,
that's good. It avoids a relatively common pitfall, which is nice.
yeah.
It obviously will might like lessen the quote unquote like potential drama a little bit, but I mean, artificial. That's just artificial drama stuff.
Yeah.
That's not really necessary. Okay, so overall, do you think? I mean, do you think this is gonna have like a nice resolution, or do you think it's gonna have like a story ever after, or like there are more stories beyond this, or more some shit like that kind of ender, or like what's going on
um
here?
I don't know. I'm not too far in, so I can't really say like how I think the ending's gonna go.
Mhm.
But it
It's 12,
doesn't.
right?
I think so. It says, oh, Mal says 24. So
That's so it's gonna have
You're
a
in
pretty
fucking
solid
long,
ending.
my man.
What?
yeah.
Okay, so it's going to have a pretty solid ending then. If they do like 24 episodes and they're like there are more stories beyond this that I haven't talked about, but like I'll be like no.
Please buy the manga.
Yeah,
Please.
like, we we made a 24 episode season just for this. But yeah. Okay, so it might have some sort of conclusive ending, but again, you don't know what direction it might take yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure because again they introduced this new rival, so I'm not sure if they're gonna go more of sort of like a romance thing,
Mhm.
or they're going to really drive home the training into rivalry thing, or
Right.
I'm not too sure where exactly it's going. All I know is they have some really long necks, which is it's very jarring when you like first watch it. Like the
Mhm.
necks get really long when they're dancing. Um, but
But
by around, but
why do their necks grow during their dancing?
I'm not sure. I think it probably does that in the manga, and they're just kind of like adapting it that way. But it
Does it give
They're
more
secretly all
emphasis?
because
giraffe.
like when they're dancing, all their limbs like they kind of stretch because they're drawing these really dynamic poses, and it looks pretty fluid when it's in motion. But when you just take like a still of like them dancing and their neck is really long, it's like, what the fuck, it
What
looks
happened?
really weird,
Yeah,
and
what happened right here?
it is kind of jarring when you watch it for the first time. You're like, damn, his neck's fucking super long all of a sudden. But
Well, that
when they really get into it, it kind of
it
you kind of
stops mattering
get
as much,
you get
especially
used
since
to
they
it.
zoom out a lot, right? They must
Yeah.
have zoomed out a lot because they're doing like the whole like dancing thing, right?
Um. Yeah. They do actually do a lot of like really close in face shots, which really kind of shows off um Production IG being a pretty good studio,
A pretty
because
decent studio, yes.
yeah, they're pretty all right. Because a lot of their faces are very detailed. They have a lot of line work in them, and
How much of the dancing and stuff like that is 3D CG?
um, not as much as I expected. They do like when they're showing shots of, because when they do ballroom competitions, it's all the dancers dance at like the same time.
Yeah.
So when they're showing like the big shots of all the dancers, dancing at the same time. They're kind of just CG, and they're sort of just rotating, and it's like, well, that's a little ugly. But when it's really kind of showing off the dances, they do. It's all hand animated, so
So
it's
it's like
quite nice looking.
it's like a bird's eye view is like 3D CG, and then they cut to a close up, and it's 2D kind of thing.
Sort of, yeah. I
Cool.
mean, usually in the middle of a dance, they don't try to do
Too many, like,
the
random.
CG stuff because when they're in the middle of a dance, they're trying to show off the dance. But
Just when they're like
when they're
gathered.
showing off like the floor,
Oh, okay.
like this is the ballroom, and
Mhm.
there are people dancing. They do the CG stuff.
Oh, like outside of like a competition or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, there's some
Like, or
shots.
before the competition.
Yeah,
Whatever.
there's some shots in it where it's like, well, there didn't really need to be CG here, but it's not too overbearing in my opinion.
Okay. All right. So, just like some last, like one last thing. So if you knew somebody who just like asked about like let's say ballroom or whatever, and he's somebody I guess sort of similar to me who's like I don't like hate sports series or anything like that. I just don't really like watch them in general, right? Um, would you recommend them this series?
Um, I would probably recommend them Haikyuu over this, just
Okay.
because Haikyuu's a really good series. Like I think the sports aspect, regardless, I think Haikyuu's just good in general.
Oh.
And then if they were like, oh, I've already watched Haikyuu, I'd be like, well then, yeah, check it out because I think it's pretty good. It's got a nice style. The characters are pretty likable. The main girl's voiced by Ayane Sakura, so she's pretty
Yes, I saw
cute.
that.
And
Sweet.
yeah, I mean it's a decent sports series, I think.
All right. So again, sad, I guess. Thank you for again covering ballroom and Yukuso. Although did also want to take a crack at it, but you managed to get there before I did. But
Yeah.
I'm glad we did get to cover it before the season sort of ended. So with that, I guess we'll move again. If you guys do want to watch it, the title is Ballroom e Yokoso or Welcome to the Ballroom, production IG. You can just check it out again. It seems to be a pretty decent series from what I look when I watched first couple of episodes. So yeah, check it out. So and with that, we'll move on to the second series, which is Toast with his diatribe, or rather, I guess, talk about in a different world with a smartphone.
Are you telling me to phone in my discussion? Because that's what I'm about to do.
That was bad. That was pretty bad.
Isekai was
You need
smartphone.
to give me better segues, Fire. You
I am not gonna give
You-
you. Just say it.
You made the segue.
Oh my god.
do
But yeah,
do it over.
god damn
You
it.
could have said something like, "And now we'll bring you into a parallel world that has no ballroom dancing and it has a smartphone."
Yeah.
Um,
All right. It's just like real life, dude.
all right, time to swipe left on this segment. Moving
Nice,
on.
nice.
Damn.
Anyways, Toast.
Hello.
You want to talk about another isekai series again, following after the Knights of Magic discussions we've had. It's isekai was smartphone Totomoni, which is again in a different world with smartphone. Originally a Japanese web novel, right? Got turned into a light novel, then into an anime series very recently. Has a decent number of new voice actors, if I remember correctly, or like
Yeah, like
smaller
Uchida
voice
Maya
actors.
as the long-haired twin.
I mean, obviously some of them, like here and
Yeah.
Uesaka Sumire is also in it, but it's like there are obviously big names in it. But, like there are also a bunch of smaller names than the girls. But I mean, there are like 19 billion different girls around the dude, so I guess there are always going to be opportunity. Anyways, because I don't want to start talking about the story. The story itself is just real quick. I also read web novel. I haven't seen the anime yet. Doesn't seem that good, but or it seems like a very straight out at best. But it's just about a dude who wakes up in a parallel world. He has a smartphone that's like super powered. Or no, he dies. He meets with God. The God's just like, I fucked up, but then he,
The reason he died was because God was like, let me throw down lightning because I feel like it. And then it hits the
yeah,
dude and he's like, my bad.
yeah. So God sends him to another world with his smartphone. Finds out he gives the smartphone also like all these like powers and stuff like that. The MCL also gets his own powers later on, but that's whatever.
It's
Um,
God's like, or it's like that opening in Konosuba where Aqua's like, well, you can bring one thing with you. But
yeah,
instead of Aqua, it's
bringing
God.
the God,
And the
yeah,
dude's like, let me bring my smartphone.
yeah,
And then God's like, is that all? You
yeah.
loser, here, let me give you some basic stat boosts. Also,
Yeah, so he becomes like essentially a cheap protagonist. He's like the chill kind of like, let's do this the clever way kind of like protagonist, and then or let's do like the shortcut method kind of protagonist. And then he gets in a whole bunch of he gets it on with a whole bunch of girls, and then that's essentially how the isekai story works. It's a very pure power fantasy kind of thing.
is
Very,
it?
very pure power.
Because he doesn't really use his powers often. Like, all he does
I
is he
mean, he
spams.
doesn't need to. He just literally just gets everything he wants with by just when he did like the early stuff, right? Like in the early arcs, he
You're,
just like, oh, I'll just use smartphone and my powers to do everything, and then he just gets everything, and then later on, he doesn't need to do anything because he already has everything. So it's like,
That's me.
Yeah, I was gonna say power fantasy is more about the outcome rather than the actual action.
I mean, point aside, Toast
what's
again.
up?
You're the only one who's actually both read and watched the series, I believe, right? What did you think about? What do you think about? First of all, what do you think about? Um, I'm gonna go with a quicker topic first, which is what do you think about the manga to anime transition? Is it like a
I
relative
didn't read the
straight up,
manga.
or
Oh,
not the manga, the web novel?
I
Excuse
didn't
me.
read the web novel.
You didn't read the web novel?
No,
Is
it looked
I
boring.
thought you did. What the
I read like
fuck? Then
chapter.
why'd you watch the anime?
I read like chapter 1 of the manga, and I was like, this is boring.
Wait, hold
Why
the
are you
fuck up.
watching this?
Yeah, no. Why? If you thought the original material was boring, why did you watch the anime?
Why not?
What the fuck?
Well, there it is.
Alright.
See you next week, guys.
Anyways, so
Sometimes, well,
okay,
like you guys know that I've been on an isekai binge for a while now.
yeah, but then why did she just?
Because I've been on an isekai binge for a while now, and I'm like, alright, whatever. I have to wait
Alright.
6 more days for the next Knights and Magic, and the next restaurant Shokudo, whatever, and it updates on Tuesday. I might as
Might as
well.
well just rot my brain for a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, so I get. So talk about. I
It's
guess.
also one of the it's also one of the most popular ones in Japan this season.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Again,
why are they interested in this?
Well,
stuff
I mean, Japan's taste is
very suspect.
questionable at best.
Suspect. Yes. Um, Again, it is as Toast said, it's one of the more popular like shousetsu novels, which again is like fanfiction.net on steroids. And I do mean like fucking times like at least 50. Like you can, there are people who have grown out like gotten jobs from like these fucking sites. So it's a regular kind of almost like business. But anyways, um, it is one of the more popular titles on there, along with a whole bunch. It's actually kind of silly because it's like some of the titles that get top ranking. I don't. I actually don't want to talk about this. It's like some of them very like you're like, all right, this clearly took a whole bunch of like this clearly took a lot of intelligence to write. You're just like sitting there like, But anyways,
Really gets my
um,
noggin jogging, you know?
Yeah. It's that aside, what did you think of the series in general now that you've watched the anime? And how would you compare it to again other isekais? Again, I would say this is pretty much uh, more. How do I say this? It's more isekai, but it's the peaceful isekai variant. So what I want to say is like when I'm creating these terminologies, there's a dramatic variant and a peaceful variant where it's like the dramatic variant has a lot of these sorts of like up and downs, like oh, something's happened, but then he got like betrayed by somebody, or like he got his one of his waifus stolen away by a rich noble or some other really stupid bullshit, and then they have to go on arc to save them and all this thing. The peaceful variant has much less of that, or like if the problems do occur, it's solved usually very, very quickly. So those two are sort of the variants, but I would think it's a, smartphone is essentially a very like peaceful isekai variant. But what did you think overall?
Toast?
Hello? Oh,
Toast?
there we go.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. All right.
I don't know.
The toast.
I'm about 7 episodes in, and the only mention of like a plot is that this king dude he got poisoned by potentially an ambassador from the Beast Nation,
Yeah,
and like that's it.
and
That
the dude analyzes whatever,
and it's
right?
like he does the Sherlock Holmes Dick Conan thing, and but really, there's not much world building that's going on in this series, and it's kind of
Oh
disappointing.
no, it's not. That's
I want to
this.
like I want them to have some sort of overarching plot where there's a reason why he's traveling, but there isn't really.
No, there's. I mean, if you're talking about him just going to different places to achieve objectives, there is an overarching thing for him
I
doing
mean,
that,
like
and in
he
my
does
mind,
guild quests, but that's just that's like filler stuff.
yeah,
You could
the
have
issue.
really.
See, this is also the issue because it's like since I've read pretty much up to where everything's been translated. Um, I like there overall is an overarching reason, but it's also very like I'm not sure whether the anime is gonna get to that or like it might hint at it, but I don't think it's gonna necessarily get to that. But the issue is it's also that like this smartphone series is very like slow because it's like the peaceful variant, as I said before, right? So the issue then becomes, okay, is this sort of like tip of the iceberg kind of thing that the anime is showing. You know, as you said, with them just doing the guild quest to get the entire party leveled up to the same thing or whatever to the same level. I think it was right. Or like messing around with whatever the king's poison and the beast kingdom or whatever. Is this like sort of all there is? Is that sort of the pace? Is there like a central thing going on? Is the pace going to slow down later? Stuff like that. It's very like unclear, and it's not necessarily going to be cleared up within a decent amount of time because again, the original series is so long. So I believe that is a pitfall of sort of the anime.
I mean, yeah, it's all these episodes are happening, and they feel like filler. And
It's very very slow. Yes,
I'm not like gaining any. I'm not gaining any interest in what's happening because there's no
but it's
overarching
also
plot.
I want to say
It's
it's
different
also
from like Konosuba where I had to throw it out there where every episode is its own self-contained thing and there's shenanigans happening, but at least what's happening is pretty funny, supplemented by the characters being like wildly interesting and doing their own thing. But the problem with smartphone is all the characters are pretty samey,
Is
and
this not a comedy or
it's not.
It's not.
It's
It's
pretty
like
slice of life.
it hails itself as a rom-com, but like the comedy stuff it does is very, 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 very,
It's not really
very
that funny.
diluted. It's very
uh
diluted. It's like the very sort of like it's like the most polite comedy, I think, essentially.
Like
It's
yeah,
very
I the one fan service episode, which is I think episode 5. It was half an
not.
episode dealing with the slime dungeon, and they're like, "Oh, we don't like the green slimes because they melt
Oh yeah, we
clothes."
don't want to take that quest or whatever it is. Yeah.
And then like at the end, it's, "Oh, this dude was building slimes because he wanted a slime harem," and then all the girls are like, let's burn this place down. And
Yeah,
he's like,
stuff like
no,
that.
don't do that. I mean, you could.
Uh,
It's similar to the Konosuba OVA, where they're investigating these ruins with the golem, and the dude's purpose was the dude made like this S&M golem at the end, so he could fool around with, kind of like
mhm.
that.
Yeah, I
Like
remember
I
that.
can't help but compare it to that episode in Konosuba because it was funny and interesting, and I was interested in throughout the whole thing. But the slime episode in this one is not that good. It's like it's super generic.
Yeah,
It's like
it's
we hate slimes. We're gonna kill every slime, but they
yeah.
all have the same like reaction towards the slimes. It's pretty lukewarm. Where in Konosuba, you'd have Aqua screaming and running around doing stupid stuff. Megumin wants to blow stuff up, and Darkness is a masochist and wants to be beat up. They all have their own
Yeah, I mean that's
different
also
reactions, but
it's Konosuba also being a little bit over the top with their character personalities. Not that that's an entirely bad thing, but it is more of their unique
it
personalities.
adds more
But
flavor to different encounters
yeah,
because they all have
but
their own unique like way of reacting towards it. But
over the top is the more specific thing
yeah,
I would like to point out. But yeah, I do agree with you on that, and I do agree with that. Smartphone is pretty samey again, as you said. Doesn't really have a specific world building because what they're focusing on is just growing the sort of harem member cast kind of thing, right? Um, the I mean I still I mean the issue is it's like at the end of the day it's not you see it's like you said like filler or whatever and like with similar stuff in Konosuba, but it's like the issue is it's like what they're doing in that filler in a sense is essentially what Smartphone always wants to be doing. So it's like that filler is its main game, which is again not necessarily a thing of praise, but it's just like a thing that the author set up. Um, I just again
if anything, when they're doing these side quests, I would like to learn more about the world and all that and the world structure. Like, hey, we're doing it in
no,
this
the
town,
author's not about that. The author's definitely not about
and
that
that's
life.
definitely like something I don't like.
Yeah,
If you're
it's.
going to give a slice of life, I would like to learn more about the world, what your purpose is, and traveling around doing stuff is for.
I mean,
And
you can have a slice of life series without real like super world building or whatever, like the types you're imagining. But it's like, again, if I mean, I think also my complaint towards that again, which is sort of similar to yours, with a slightly different bent, but it's like, if you're not going to do that like world building that Toast mentioned, you got to at least have like some more decent character interactions or developments. But it's again, it's like the series is so much more focused about just get these girls into the fucking clown car. Like here, that girl here, remember that girl here, remember this girl here, remember
yeah,
that over there. It's not focusing really on having these girls talk with each other, sort of interact in a unique manner, stuff like that. So it is very much very.
like you got you got this girl who, and then you got this girl's sister,
I
and you
mean,
got this other
it's
girl
like
who's also
they have like a
royalty.
single word personality kind of thing. They're like
Yeah,
there's like a
they're
fighter
very
girl,
samey.
and then there's like a shy magic girl, or like two word personalities. I guess like there's like a there's like a slight contrast fighter girl, shy magic girl, not shy magic girl. That comes later, I think.
You got yeah,
Yeah, the shy princess, the bookworm princess, like stuff like that, where it's like very
and you
like
got the samurai girl who uses the same weapon as Toya does because
the Nipponese
coincidentally they're
samurai,
supposed to be used. They're coincidentally from the same not Japanese nation, and
not
it's
Japanese.
like,
Yeah, exactly.
why would you make them have both the
Shit,
same
right?
weapons, man?
Yeah.
That's lazy writing. At least give Toya a different weapon.
Yeah. Just I mean, they just needed a black hair, pure Yamato, like pure samurai girl. That's just how the author wanted it, and so yeah. Again, I definitely agree with a lot of points that like Toast pointed out. Actually, all of them, pretty much. But I just
I'm really wondering why Japan likes it so much. Maybe they like the character
I
design.
mean,
But, like
I
the,
wonder
the
why. I wonder why Japan likes a lot of things.
like the only
But
redeeming one is the fighter girl is voiced by Uchida Maya, which I immediately pointed out.
you realize that like okay, I mean there are like a whole bunch of like different web novel like whatever sites out there now. Also like some like like digital like novel sites and stuff like that in Japan on that right now. And there was this one thing where it's like I forget if it was published in like somewhere called like Melon Books or somewhere else or I think Acropolis or whatever some other like main Japanese like web novel site. And these authors often leave like a thing where it's like, oh, I got, this many bookmarks, this many likes, I hit this rank or whatever. Thank you so much, stuff like that, right? Like I hit like top 500, web novel titles or whatever, or some bullshit. And I was reading this thing, and it was like a really fucking like go nowhere, not very good grammar, like shitty ass fucking like story about uh like a dragon you like demigod kind of MC OP protagonist who like fucking just dotes on his like tigerkin little sister, adopted little sister or something like that, and then he just randomly decides to build a town. Except town building thing isn't very good. It's just him being like, yeah, you guys need to be kind to each other or whatever, some bullshit.
We're just gonna make this a kind town with kind people. No,
Yeah, exactly.
and we're gonna build a wall to keep the not kind people out.
That's my kind of town.
Those
Make
not kind
make the
people are
town
gonna
great again.
But yeah, it's like that sort of thing. And then like when they start, the whole like adopted Imoto or whatever starts having sort of more romantic feelings for the MC because of course why not, right? Um, like one of the chapters after that, like the author had like footnote where it's like, or the author had like yeah, I guess footnote at the very end, author's notes thing, where it's like I reached what was it like? I reached like top three or top three or something like that, like rankings on the site. Thank you so much. I'm just like, how did this get top three? Like this is like not even close to being an intricate or like a deep or thought provoking or even like appealing in the standard categories that this would want to be in, whether it's romance or comedy or drama or whatever, and it still got top three. So like this, like I know you're kind of like half joking when you're like saying, I don't know. I was trying to figure out why Japanese people like stuff. Japanese people like really fucking dumb stuff. Like, like they've been supporting
Shout out
shit
to all
like
the Japanese viewers.
they've been supporting shit like
Konnichiwa.
Mahoka, Mahoka, and Sword Art Online, and Oregairu, all this other stupid bullshit, overrated, brain dead stuff for decades, and it's like it's only I think gonna get worse. I'm not saying that necessarily because of like an old man kind of statement, but because people are just gonna be like there's gonna be so much like shit thrown at them.
Is it because
People are
anyone can write a light novel nowadays?
yeah, I mean like light novel, web novel, whatever. But the point is that sort of like creation of like supply, right? There's gonna be so much shit thrown at people, and people are like gonna be like, oh, like how do I deal with this? Which one do I select? And they're going to turn their brains off and choose the one with the fucking like biggest harem or whatever it is, right? So that's sort of how it's gonna go.
But Spire, haven't you ever wanted to be reincarnated as a vending machine?
God, I mean, I appreciate that series a lot more. Although it's still weird how the two girls still managed to fall in love with the vending machine. But it's that
You ever?
aside,
I mean,
Yeah, but
you
I
did have
mean,
that one person who married a bridge, so
yeah,
I
that's
can
with a
true.
sense
series like
maybe.
that,
This is double.
you can appreciate like how weird it is,
Yeah, no,
right?
and the dude has like does like these weird things and like because he's a vending machine, he's forced to do all these like clever little weird crap.
You ever fight a dragon as a vending machine, Spire?
I mean, they even make like the author even makes a huge deal out of communicating as a vending machine, which is admittedly pretty difficult. So it's like like that author at least had like had a weird idea, but managed to keep it up, like keep its weirdness up. I can appreciate that. This thing is just like it kind
There's
of
no
dies after.
redeeming qualities about it that make it
Yeah,
stand
there's
out
very
amongst the
little
rest.
like at all. Like the
Other
only,
than the smartphone thing, but I mean, you
the
could
smartphone thing also died out later on. I mean, I guess he's using it now in the anime, but like later on,
you
like
could like
maybe
literally
past the
write it off as a magic device.
yeah,
That's like that's it.
later on, like it essentially dies off. Like you maybe hear him using the smartphone, like the smartphone being mentioned like
There's nothing
every 10
unique about
chapters.
like the use of the smartphone at all.
It's just a cheat device that doesn't seem like a cheat device for some reason, but it's a cheat
Yeah.
device. But yeah. Anyways, any last words for
I
this?
mean, we're already on episode 7, and I don't see much happening. I hopefully it picks up late, like before the season ends with it. Otherwise, it's going to be schlock all the way to the end. And I'd like to see it pick up because apparently it's so popular.
I just
But
want
I'm
to see
not
it
really
die.
hopeful for the rest compared to something like Death March, which is coming up, by the way. Death March is probably going to be in the same vein
I
as
mean,
this,
Death March is also. I
but it's
mean,
going
Death
to be
March is
better in
even
every possible
longer.
aspect.
The issue is, it's like Death March is like okay, like the characters are a bit more okay, but Death March is even longer, I think,
Yeah,
than
but there's a lot of world
uh,
building and interesting things happening in it, and they have
yeah. I just
a
hope that the
sense of
pacing.
purpose.
Yeah, I mean, I just hope that the pacing and the fact that the anime has to end. The web novel doesn't necessarily have to end, but the anime definitely has to end. I hope that they can kind of wrap it up in a decently
I just
decent.
hope something happens in smartphone. Like, give me something to grasp onto, so I
Yeah,
could
that's
say that this wasn't a mistake.
yeah,
Give me an interesting character, and I can say, hey, this character is pretty cool. Instead of,
yeah. No, I
hey,
agree.
this character is voiced by Uchida Maya, and that's it.
That's why I'm watching. No, I definitely agree with that. But yeah, anyways, thank you for at least checking the series out. And you know, I guess if you're that bored, if you audience members are that bored, you guys can check it out. But neither I nor Toast would really recommend it.
Not if it gets better, I'll mention it. But otherwise, right now at this point, no.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, that was Smartphone, and with that, we'll move on to the last series to cover in our episode.
Hey, Spire, I'm feeling kind of hungry. Why don't we order
Since
some
we're in since
Chinese
we're in
food?
Isekai, yeah, since we're in Isekai, why don't we port ourselves over to Isekai Shokudo, or a restaurant from another world? Dark. Want to head this discussion?
So this is all about what if with the isekai all along, you know? And it was a restaurant. So basically it's like, I'm trying to think if I should start with like the quote unquote plot of the show. Because like the plot
It's
is
like
that,
a
Yeah, just give a basic like beginning of like where the people are coming from, or like not the episode, like episode by episode, but like what people are coming from and stuff like
It's
that.
like,
I guess.
have you guys ever been close to death and you see a mysterious door appear in front of you? Well, that door is the door to the restaurant from another world. Ah!
yeah, pretty much. Well, there you go. Pretty much the summary. Like a door shows up in a fantasy land, and it's a restaurant in our world, and the chef makes food at night for
So
once a week.
it's like a reverse isekai.
Yeah, kind of. But like it's really, I mean, it's not an isekai at all. There's really no isekai to it.
So wait, the isekai comes into our world?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
We were the
So
isekai.
it's
You're the isekai.
recreators.
Oh my god, you're right.
Just ruined this series for me.
Restaurant creators.
But what if Recreators wasn't a fucking
What if
awful,
the
awful
re
mess?
in recreators stands for restaurant?
Oh snap!
They were a restaurant
you-
created? Oh my god.
I'm already putting my head between my hands. Not like this. Not like this. Oh god. Anyways, moving away from that thing that shall not be mentioned again. How about so again, you said that people come from isekai stuff, so I also read a bit of the web novel believe it was a web novel original, but uh, I read a little bit of the web novel before people stopped translating for a while, and then people picked it back up again because surprise, it's popular because it became an anime. But so all the people are like always like fighting over food, right? I think.
No.
Well,
That's like sort of a gimmick that comes up every now and then, and it's that the people from the other world that go to this restaurant, they all have their own favorite dish.
they're like fans, yeah.
and they think it's the best dish there, and they refuse to eat anything else essentially.
Mhm.
But it's also pretty much the only thing they've eaten there.
Yeah.
So like, there's a lot of people who
each of the things that they've eaten also like tell their story, kind of.
yeah. I was gonna say, like, the basic way the show goes every episode is that you have two dishes,
Uh-huh.
and each dish essentially tells a story about a different person and a different like type of person from the other world. So like,
Yeah.
there's an episode that's all about omelet rice, and it's the story about like the lizard men and like the lizard men type people from that world, and like a
Yeah.
specific warrior from it, and it gives you a lot of background information.
Yeah,
of,
it's
like,
actually really cool.
So it's like Wakagozake when it talks about the food, in a way.
kind of when it gets into the food.
yeah, exactly. So
But
it's actually
there's
really
two
cool.
parts to it, where it goes into the food, but it also goes into the people in a very similar
Yeah.
way, and how like the other world functions and like the sort of society. Like they go into pretty much the entire like makeup of the lizard men
Yeah,
and how like their tribe works.
Yeah, it's actually really cool because from what I read
Sounds
of
like
it,
decent world building disguised under omelet rice.
it's very episodic, but yeah, it is very good. It's elaborate world building, but it's not really continuous though because it's like they don't really use too much of that material in like the next one. But it's like um, what I found really interesting again from what Dark mentioned and from what I read was that it's very like it's like a funnel kind of kung, where it's like at the beginning they're like, there's this entire history, like this life of this lizard man or this life of like sage or this life of the hunter or whatever it is, right? Blah 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 blah. And then it all like zooms, like it all starts like narrowing, like a perspective, the scale of it all starts narrowing down to this one moment where for the first time the person ate the food. So it's like everything kind of ends up there, and then like the dude obviously, like the people obviously, because they're like isekai people, and then this is the best thing ever. Oh my god, stuff like that, right?
What
Or
is
like
this
they get
white
addicted to it,
rice you
yeah,
speak of?
yeah, or they get like solely addicted to the taste or whatever, and then it kind of like goes from there, and maybe there's like some epilogue thing. But it's very interesting how like as a work of literature, it just like it descales. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, it's yeah, no, I mean that's pretty much what it does with almost every single thing, where it gives you an explanation of pretty much the base type of the people, and then like maybe a group, and then goes to the person, and then how they got to the restaurant.
Yeah, because it's like usually
It's
stories
like
become
it's
bigger in scale,
it's like
right?
those
Yeah.
bar scenes where it's like this dude orders the same thing, and you can tell by what they order. Like what they order tells their life story. You know that kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, that sort of thing. I didn't know what you.
What? No? You guys haven't seen that? There's this common thing where it's a bar scene and the same guy comes in, orders the same thing every night, and then some random is like, "Hey, who's this guy? Why does he order this?" And the manager's like, "Oh, you don't know this guy? It's because his blah 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 blah."
The bartender just knows everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard a little bit of stuff like that. But what I wanted to ask you is like, wait, what other food related series have you watched? Dark.
Wakagozake?
Me?
Shokugeki
Yeah.
no Soma.
Fucking none.
Okay, so this is actually like your first sort of like
I play
real
Vanillaware
food
games,
focus.
What was
dude.
Spire? What was that one show with what's her
Kofu
face Rina
Graffiti?
in it? Yeah, yeah. There you
Yes.
go.
So it's I guess again I guess it's your first. Is there a lot of food porn like in the series?
Okay, so that was one of the things I kind of want to bring up. That's kind of like a place of content. Well, not content. I don't really know how to describe it. It's weird because I'm kind of on the fence about it. So in general, I think the way the episodes are made up are fine. It wasn't really what I was expecting because I was expecting to actually get more insight into the demon girl working at the restaurant. I thought that's what it was going to be. Like we were going to get half the episode her, the other half of the episode like at the restaurant.
Right.
Obviously not. That's not how it is. Though that does happen in like 2 or 3 episodes. So give or take. But
Right.
the big thing with the food in it, I feel like, is like on one hand they try to make it that sort of thing with food porn, but like I don't think the audio visuals in a lot of it are good enough to justify
To
some of
lend
that.
themselves to really kind of people appreciating that. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, because it's not like it's like listen, I'm fucking playing Final Fantasy 15 and I'm looking at that food and that, and then there's like Vanillaware game food
I've
and
come
that,
up
and
with a
there's
new
like
recipe.
and there's like there's a lot of things that do like food porn like visuals better, like a lot better than this show. But I think this show does it like pretty well enough. I think where it does shine though in some parts, which is kind of weird to say though, but like the sound design for some of it is pretty good. Like when they're cutting into the meat. But the visuals aren't amazing. I think the thing that I dislike a lot about it though is how every single episode, like every single dish, you have a character try it, eat it, but then describe it. But 90% of the time, it's like kind of the same description anyway, because how many ways are you going to fucking describe food to begin with? Like,
Right.
guess what? If it's a cutlet and it melts in your mouth, it doesn't matter if it's pork, beef, or chicken. It does the
The,
same
the
fucking thing.
the issue is it's like with these food series, it puts so much pressure on people to do like visually appealing food porn. But that's not always like not every series is up to the task, as you said.
But like,
This
does
series
it?
is
But
this.
does it really have to be all about how the food looks? Because isn't the food just a
If they're
vehicle to tell a
going to,
story?
I mean,
if
in
they're
in
going
anime,
to
that's the thing.
spend half
That's
of the episode describing the food, then yeah.
But isn't the food just a vehicle to tell a story about these, like all these random people that show up? And isn't that the point
That's
of the
the
show?
other 50. That's the other 50% of it. It's like 50-50 essentially.
yeah.
All right.
Like
So Dark, I want you to look at this. This is a scene I'm like about Kofuku Graffiti, a series I have talked to you about before. It's like one of the more recent like food series that's come up. Um, but it kind of tries to up the ante on the food porn thing. Would this be kind of the thing you want? Like if they did commit to like food porn thing, would this be the kind of thing you want?
Or what about Wakakozake? Have you seen that?
Kofuku Graffiti was so fucking stupid.
Kofuku Graffiti could have been so good, but it turned out to be so stupid. like Vapid. Vapid is the best way to describe it. It was just very like nothing.
Yeah,
But it could have been so good. It could have been potential.
man.
I blame Okadamari, but I also blame.
my mic was off.
Good job.
Fucking.
Okay.
I feel like Waka Kozake is like the best food series I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Wakakozake also like it literally didn't do anything except for the food, right?
Yeah,
Like
that's why it's good,
And
dude.
that's why that's a
Yeah.
highlight. It's
No, I know. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's like one of the major reasons is like it's a show that literally did not focus on anything else except.
I mean, you can have this, like I said earlier, the food is what tells the story. And in Wakakozake, the food tells a food story. Well, in this one, the food tells a isekai story.
Well,
Yeah,
I don't know. Like my whole thing is the problem is that 50% of the show isn't telling the story about. 50% of the show is like, what is that character now describing what they're eating?
Okay.
Well, maybe not. maybe that's a little bit too much, but
Yeah.
a significant portion of the episode is the food description and them eating the food, and it's like, if you're going to have that, then your food should it should look real good, and I've
Yeah,
seen
it needs to peel also. I mean, it needs to peel through the medium of animation, right? Because we are watching anime. But
Is
a
it
lot of it,
because like
a lot of it's really basic. There's no like in that, even in that one thing, just to completely cut you off, but in that one like clip you sent me of
graffiti?
Kofuku graffiti, like
Yeah.
the food itself, like the actual egg itself looks pretty alright. It looks like the visuals of it look pretty good, but then they also put a lot of frame and effort into like squash and
reaction.
stretch and like on the egg itself and like how it reacts like when it's pretty much like cut and stuff like that. Like the food in this is pretty damn stat.
It's kind of, yeah.
Like it's pretty static, and how static it is doesn't really justify the visuals, because their visuals aren't bad, but they're like not that much further from like just standard food in an anime. To be honest,
they could be better if it's talking about the food.
Yeah, like if this focus is food, then this should not, like it should be all out. Like it should look, and if it's gonna be like stationary for the most part, like there's really no reason why it shouldn't look like something out of a Vanillaware game or something.
What studio is this?
Isn't it like 8-bit or something like that?
Silver Link.
Oh,
Silver Link.
Huh.
Ooh. No, wait, weren't they doing multiple series this season? Like 3 different fucking series or something like that?
I think so, yeah.
But if I remember correctly, this was one of the major shows that they were doing. Like they were doing like this one and then like 2 other sort of like shitty series that nobody cared. If I remember, like one of them might have even have been like a random like children's show.
Isekai.
They're doing like
Battle Girl High School.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Battle Girl High School looks like
Machiavellianism.
No, that was
and the Prisma Ilia movie.
Oh, that explains a lot.
Are you talking about Death March? Because Death March is going to be made by Silverlink.
No.
I mean, no, that's gonna be later. But
But yeah,
so...
Dark. Let me ask this: is it because are you bored of the food? It's because it's normal food to you, and you're not from an isekai? Is that why you're not that interested in the food?
No, I mean it's like
it's culture thing.
It's not that about.
Do you hate?
You have to be from an isekai to appreciate this show.
You have to get the culture shock.
It's true. I don't.
Are you
get
like
it.
Guy Fieri and you hate eggs?
Oh my God.
Listen, this ain't no Flavor Town, all right? That should be what it is. Fuck this show, dude. These people should be. There
Guy
should be
Fieri
demon
should go
girls.
to another world.
Exact. No. Fuck
Get that
Fuck
hamburger
that.
sushi going on.
No, not even going to another world. All right, he should be bringing people from another world to Flavor Town.
Yeah.
Ready.
Oh.
Demon girl should walk in and he should be making
Welcome
that
to
gringo
Triple D.
sushi with the pulp. Yeah, Triple D. I want to see a demon girl on Triple D.
Have like a vampire like dude come in and like Guy Fieri's just like taking him around like SoCal. Like what's going on? Like,
Oh, that's money. That's money right there. That burger. But
let me give you a passport to Flavor Town with this avocado toast. Whatever
God, dude.
Cali people like to eat.
But yeah,
But
anyway.
it's like I mean, in some ways I can appreciate it because it's like there's some dishes like I haven't eaten. Like I haven't had katsudon. I haven't had.
Mhm.
I mean, I've had katsu stuff, but I haven't had like the actual like katsudon prepared properly, stuff like that. I've just had like beef katsu. But the I don't know. I guess the reason why I don't appreciate it as much is because I'd rather see than be told. Like I'd rather see.
Right, show not tell kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'd rather see like the food itself have like really good animation to it and like physical aspect to it rather than like this person's just eating fried shrimp, takes a bite of it and their bite's missing. There you go.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make a big deal over the bite itself, like animation wise and stuff like that.
Like the food may be plain, but like to them, the idea is like a perception, right? It's like to them, it is like the best thing, like or one of the best things that they've ever tasted. Like it's like sometimes changed their lives and stuff like that. And uh, like if they're like viewing it through that perception when they're eating it and they're telling a story and stuff like that, like it should be appropriately, shiny, I guess.
Yeah, like I want to, like if they're gonna be sitting there and be like, they're gonna give this long-winded description about like this pretty basic plate of food, like
Hmm.
there should be something there with it appropriately to show that. I mean, even with a pudding episode, like it really wasn't anything too special.
Yeah.
Which it's like, yeah, I like I don't want to ask too much of it, but if you're gonna have that much of your episode be that instead of being more of a character or something like that, then you should definitely give the food that. Lord knows some of the audio visuals in this show aren't exactly costly to the point where they should be short on budget for that or something.
I mean,
Yeah.
So this show does have pretty jank ass audio.
Yeah, Silverlink's just juggling a couple of too many eggs right now, so it's
Yeah. So it's
it-
unfortunate,
yeah.
but I can see the novelty in it, and I do really like the show. I
Overall-
wish if they were gonna
overall-
do it, I was gonna say I do wish that because they didn't. I think like the first episode, and maybe second episode, but one thing that could have sort of went around the issue a little bit would be if instead of it focusing a lot on the character describing the food,
Mhm.
how it interacts, maybe shorten that by a decent bit, and then add in the guy, like
Like
the
history-
restaurant owner actually cooking it and how it's
Oh
prepared.
yeah. That.
Like the preparation of the food would actually, I
Yeah.
feel, be more entertaining. Like
Yeah,
significantly
exactly.
more entertaining than.
Or maybe add in
Someone
more of like the
describing how
idle chatter between like them, or like them talking about the food, like from one isekai person to another, like about the restaurant's food or something like that. I think that would also be interesting.
Yeah.
But anything other than just like, oh, this is tasty. It's really tasty.
Yeah, and I also
So
do
tasty.
have I guess a point of contention for me too might be the fact that like I understand what they were going for with the joke of like these people don't order anything any different every week and they think that it's the best dish on the menu even though they haven't really had anything else. On one hand, it can be a funny joke for an episode or two, but on the other hand, then it's like you miss out on the ability to show the same customers eating different things and reacting differently to it than like another dish and appreciating a dish differently than another. Except for the Demon Girl. The Demon Girl is really the only one who's done that so far and probably is going to be the only one who does that. But, you know, what can you do?
Oh.
That curry rice is just too gosh darn good not to order again.
All right. Well, again, thank you for reviewing a Isekai Shukudo restaurant for another for us. Again,
what
yeah.
what would you rate the show out of 10? Would you go eat there again, Dark?
Kelp review.
I'd say it's a 5-star restaurant. I'd say so myself, you know. I think it should be featured on Triple D.
Nice.
Oh my god. Yeah. Again, I know it was one of the more talked about shows this season for being sort of more unique, but I did
Yeah,
want
I would say it is fairly unique and it is very good, and you should definitely check it out.
Yeah,
like it's worth a shot. It's still like good, even though I have points of contention.
Yeah, there are things that could be seen too, but definitely overall a pretty solid show. So yeah, if you like talking about food instead of just feeding dragons or whatever, if you like isekai, if you like funky kind of mixtures of isekai and other
If
stuff,
you like
check it out.
Shokugeki no Soma, but
Shut
set
the
in a
fuck up.
different parallel world, would you like the show?
No, because you see, this show actually has real food, whereas Shokugeki no Soma apparently fucking makes up his food. Everything I've seen from that show was from Spire, granted, so it's probably loaded.
Have
a
you
bit,
never
but
had?
was it
what
the
was it?
pork roast or whatever that has zero pork in it? And it's like cheese and potato.
Yeah, it's like
It's like from chapter 1, Spire. Have you not told him about the what was it?
no, there's also the thing where they like stuff they
African
stuff
ramen. There you go.
yeah
African ramen.
yeah no or
What's
where
in that?
no
Just
or they make like a bento or like a sandwich or something from like soft shell turtle or something like they make an entirely medically healthy dish or something. It was fucked up. And then there's another one where it's like there was like an eel dish where it's like unagi is like relatively standard, like roasted eel or like sweetened slash grilled eel, and then like I think the main character or somebody like
And
stuffs like umeboshi in it, like the sour
that
plum
I don't
it's
remember
like
that.
some
or sour
fucking
date.
epic mealtime shit right there, dude.
I
And I'm
don't
just
remember
like,
that.
no, they definitely mix eel and the plum thing together, and then they try to explain about how like it's taste balanced. I'm just
Have
like,
you ever
no,
used
I
cold
remember seeing that.
fusion while making sushi? Or not cold
God,
fusion. What was it?
nitrogen or whatever,
Yeah,
liquid nitrogen. Yeah.
liquid
They're using
nitrogen.
cold fusion.
Holy shit, dude! That's some advanced tech.
Yeah.
The thing that Alice does. What's it called?
You ever, you ever cook a burger in a hadron collider?
you, you ever said, you ever microwave something in hyperspace? Like take the
What is that
Millennium Falcon and
fucking? What is that particle collider they just made recently?
Hadron?
The two particles fucking slam into each other after going in
Molecular
a circle.
gastronomy. That's the thing I'm talking about.
No, I mean molecular gastronomy is a thing, but what they're making, like what these like guy, like if you see,
Have you
okay,
ever had thermal sense curry, Spire?
oh my god, just kill me. The thing is, it's like if you look at like there are like YouTube videos, like real YouTube videos of chefs at top restaurants like explaining what dishes they're making for the day and stuff like that. And, like most of them are pretty like they're just like specific dishes, but they just have like they're a little bit prepared strangely or like they add slightly more vegetable or so something like that, right? Or they use like more pure homegrown organic vegetables or something, then they mince it finer using specific techniques, right? They only use at those sorts of top restaurants, and that's like fine. But like Shokugeki no Soma, like it just was fucking like we'll take this shish kebab and then we'll put it into curry and then we'll lather the curry with peanut butter and then apparently it's a good dish. Like I'm just like
Yeah, that's straight up some epic
Have you
mealtime
ever
shit.
had soup de poisson ramen? I don't know how to pronounce French.
so, but it's like I wouldn't even mind that so much because like as long as everybody knows it's a sports thing. But like the author tries to write down the recipe of these dishes in like the last pages of the chapter, and I'm just like,
Spire.
no, you
What if
don't know
what if
anything about cooking.
what if
Like
what if he is being supervised by a Michelin star chef?
I don't give
I
a
would.
fuck. Like
Where's your Michelin star, Spire? You can't complain.
there are like plenty of people that just like I've gone to a Michelin star like restaurant before, but it's like
Also,
oh,
what the thing you were talking about was a soft shelled turtle hamburger.
it's soft shell
Yeah, it
turtle
was a
ham.
hamburger.
Okay, listen, I'm gonna drop some shit right here. Soft shell sandwiches and burgers are fucking disgusting. It doesn't matter what's on it. You're an animal, okay? You shouldn't be eating
No,
the shell.
soft shell turtle thing, the whatever. The thing that like in Japanese like
If I'm not mistaken, isn't that like when the shell itself is like peeled and cooked on it?
I
Or am I just thinking of soft shell crab? Because soft shell
yeah
crab has the crab
no
shell
soft
on
shell
it.
turtle is an actual like different like species. It's often like used as like a medicinal thing in like China and like Southeast Asia, but it's also seen as
It's an
it,
aphrodisiac, man.
yeah it's a sexual stimulant essentially, or rumored sexual stimulant. Obviously, these things aren't consistent, but the point is, it's like some bullshit fucking stuff.
Bunch of
Is
voodoo.
Fucking men
bunch of voodoo. God, Chinese cuisine is a whole bunch of voodoo. Oh, potato. But yeah, anyways, this
That
was
was
not supposed to be.
Shokugeki no Soma.
Yeah, thank you, Dark, for covering Shokugeki no
That
Soma.
was
Well, now
diners, drive-ins, dive.
yeah, we'll move on to our new segment
Man
now.
versus
God, fucking That series. Anyways, we have okay amount of news this segment, not too much. On the visual novel front slash yeah, on the visual novel front, we have some interesting news. First of all, Among Gamers is release schedule clarifying their schedule for the game, some of the games that they titles that they announced earlier in the year, as well as releasing some other different games. There's one called Fashioning Little Miss Lonesome, which I believe is like a love triangle, like an otome game love triangle kind of thing. Two two boys, one girl kind of thing.
Did Manga Gamer publish a Go Go or Stay Stay North Korea game? Whatever.
I forget.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
No, I know what you're talking about in terms of like the North Korean game, but I don't know whether it was them. It was pretty budget, but I'm not sure if it was Manga Gamer. I mean, Manga Games also does a lot of budget and Yuki stuff, but I don't know. Anyways, uh, so they did a release date for that, and then they are also saying that second chapter of Minori's F: A Tale of Memories, Supipara game is now funded. Oh, sorry, Minori Supipara, the visual novel game, is now funded with a release quote unquote soon, whatever that means, and they're going to be releasing it on Steam. Uh, Manga Gamer, what? Let's see. Yeah, okay. So Manga Gamer staff has said at Anime Expo last month that the company is working to release more titles on Steam as an all ages titles with separate free adult only patches. The Steam version of the games and the version offered on Manga Gamer's website will be priced the same, so Manga Gamer's getting on that shit. Hopefully, again, the all ages version, the adult patches will come soon, and the patches will be like the all ages version won't cut out like scripts or something. So again, stupid. Manga Games also announced it has licensed the following adult titles and will release the games on its website: Alisoft's Sengoku Rans, Alisoft's Rance Quest Magnum, Lunasoft's The Spirit Master of Relamia, Conqueror, and Parade's Room Number 9.
That's
So yeah,
that's a man on man game.
But Sengoku Rans is already translated.
now you know how I felt about Clannad. So yeah, if you're looking to buy those,
It depends on how they release it. Is it gonna be full price?
it's
Probably.
probably gonna be. I mean, Manga Gamers is not known for releasing cheap titles, so
Well, maybe you guys don't get coupons like I do.
I mean, even the starting discounts don't work the fact that they're still probably going to be like $39 after discounts. So
Yeah. Well, the Rants games are usually like $40.
yeah. So
Well,
anyways,
Princess Evangeline is $35.
yeah. I mean, Princess Evangel is pretty lengthy, but I mean, overall the
Sweet
game
Sweat
is.
in Summer, The Naughty Girl and Her Ripe Scent is $15.
Oh, that visual novel was
Sing-
so
uh,
bad. It
Rent,
didn't even have
Rent,
an
Because it's
ending.
fucking stupid Nukike.
Rent
Yeah, it
6
didn't
is
even have an ending.
$35.
The girl just disappears at the end. Spoiler alert. The girl
Wow.
just disappears at the end.
But
And
Spire,
you're just like,
Euphoria for $45 without coupon.
freak asshole. Near wants that one. But anyways,
Does that mean that they pay you? Like,
yeah, to pay you.
because I feel like Spire should have fucking paid us.
Us? Who the fuck is us?
Listen,
Bowed out
listen.
after like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I should get paid for the fucking 5 minutes, dude.
To be fair, okay.
I know it wasn't 5 minutes; it was 20 minutes, and nothing happened when I got there and I stopped, and I was like, I'm done.
Near really did bite the bullet and finish an entire route with me, so he deserves the
Wait,
money. If anything.
which route did you go down?
We went
The
down
crazy girl.
I mean they're all crazy girls, but the one that was attached to like a robot at the end or something like that.
Is that the one with the poo?
She
They all have poop in it.
the one who like forcefully fucking made you have her baby.
Yeah, she like led the cult or whatever.
And then the other girl like cut her head off in front of you.
Yeah,
that was
exactly,
pretty
exactly.
cool.
That was fucked up.
Is that
But yeah.
Spartan or Nier? We were like, God, I wish that were me. When you were
No.
playing this game?
When the
I was
girl was
only
cutting her
there-
head off?
Yeah.
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 I was gonna say I was only there for like fucking 15, 20 minutes, and I was like, that's all.
Euphoria also had some interesting branches.
Why are you still talking about Euphoria? You guys are gross.
fuck you. But
When's
yeah,
Maggie Day?
it has it has some interesting branch decisions where like at the end you have to choose a decision like 5 times. Like so both decisions led you down. I think like one led you down the wrong end, or like after like choosing it 5 times, and the other one led you down like the right end after choosing it 5 times, and you're just like, but then it kept like the message kept repeating itself, and you didn't know what was happening, so you're like, what? But anyways, on other news, other visual novel news, there's also Muv-Luv coming out on Steam. Oh, excuse me, Muv-Luv Alternative launches in Steam on September. A beta version of the game is already available to Kickstarter backers through
When did
Backers.
Muv-Luv come out? 2004?
I
No.
forget.
No.
After Muv-Luv Alternative is available on Steam, the staff will resume development on all Muv-Luv games for PlayStation Vita. Oh, well, okay. So,
That's acceptable.
yeah. The campaign was focused on the PC/Steam localization of the 3 games. Will offer Android and PlayStation Vita ports for both games because it met its US $500,000 stretch goal. Japan will also get the PlayStation Vita port.
Alright.
Muv-Luv Extra and Muv-Luv Unlimited launched on Steam in English last July. So if you're interested in the Muv-Luv franchise, get on that. Next piece of news, on the more international front, Yamamura Koji's short film Notes on Monsterpedia, Kaibutsu Kakusho, will stream at the UK's Raindance Film Festival, which is a pretty big film festival, in competition for the best animation short award. The 6-minute short shows monsters themed after medieval European monsters with strange names. Yamamura got the idea for the short in 2013 when sketching monsters in his notebook. It got the idea for the strange names from terms and words that became strange when translated. The short uses George Friedrich Handel's Harpsichord Suite F HWV or vocal number 427, and Harpsichord Suite in D minor HWV 428 for music, arranged by Hitomi Shimizu. So yeah, if you're interested in how the short works, you can find out on this news article here. The name is Notes on Monsterpedia, so you can kind of check it out here.
PV fucking sucks.
Shit.
Player's ass.
Yeah, this player is terrible. Are they using? Is this like an Anime News Network custom player?
I don't know. There's like there's no volume options.
There's
The
no
fucking
buttons.
pause button is in the middle of the goddamn screen. Like what the
It's
fuck?
literally worse than like a Twitter like GIF kind of thing, like a Twitter clip. But yeah, anyways, check it out. Next piece of news. This is actually pretty funny. So a while back we talked about how there's a news about how Ghibli was sending out applications for like new animators, right? Like young animators who wanted to kind of join the industry, work with Ghibli and Miyazaki on the new upcoming film. And they also specified, right? They were pretty much accepting anyone, right? Like even if they didn't have any experience, but they would be taken through sort of like this training course, right? So the results of that are in. Ghibli receives more applications than ever before for Miyazaki's new film. Recruitment of in-betweeners, background artists also draws more foreign applicants than ever before. For obvious reasons, again, you don't need like super experience with a Japanese studio. They like specifically emphasize that like with like like animation studios or like Japanese animation stuff. So the Nonaka-kun Hatsu Ghibli Daiuri blog on Studio Ghibli's official website revealed last week the studio has received more applications than ever. Blah blah blah. Blog post mentioned that there were so many applicants that staff from production and the office had to help in the screening. Ghibli Museum is also seeking funds, but what? I mean, as of August 10th, the initial screening is finished. Finalist applicants will be asked to take a practical exam in September and will officially start in October with a 6-month training period. Practical exam. After which they will join the staff of Miyazaki's new film. The new employees will receive 3-year contracts. The jobs will be at the Kogane building in Tokyo that Ghibli has held for years. The salary is 200,000 yen, about US $1,800 a month, plus coverage of travel and social insurance expenses.
That's pretty hefty.
That's pretty 18K. I mean, that's still better than all these
Wait,
like
18K or 1,000?
1,800.
Yeah, 1,800.
No, no, no,
18K would actually be real salary.
sorry.
It's 18K
I
a
meant
month. Or
I meant like around a year, it would be around like 18, 22K ish,
Oh,
right?
baby, I make what?
Minimum wage, yeah.
that's
Not even.
$21,600 a month or a year.
Yeah, but I mean, in
21K is
Japan,
hefty.
at least, I mean, again, like
A
we talk about.
year?
No. What I'm saying is that
No, I'm talking to Toast. He's like, that's half.
21K is hefty for an animator.
For an animator, yeah,
yeah,
that's pretty good.
in Japan, remember, where I mean, again, it's not. I'm not saying that the conditions. None of us are saying that the conditions over there are particularly good, but it's like right now, like beginning animators are getting paid like shit, like like 9K, 10K, 12K, like
Yeah,
15K
true.
maybe like a year. So it's like this thing is actually still much better, like if they do get in. But I I don't know. The issue is it's like doing this screening and like doing all this thing. I mean, it's still like the issue is at the end of the day, they still ask for people who are like, yeah, we don't really need experience. We're just gonna train them. So it's like, how much are we going to expect from this movie, like animation visually, like or production quality wise, if they're just kind of
Well, it's Ghibli, so regardless of who they're hiring, people
yeah,
are gonna expect a lot.
yeah, exactly. So it's like if you're just hiring like hobo in-betweeners from the screen, even if you do train them for like 6 months, you know what I mean? Like illustrators are not like they're training drawing courses, of course. They are, but it's like I don't know. This seems a little bit sketch. What about you, Dark? Any comments on it?
I mean, good luck to him.
Good luck.
I mean, hey, man, if it works, that'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, if
But
it works, it'll be a very like interesting like
so,
employment kind of project.
yeah, I don't know, it's weird. It seems like something like this, like, I know a lot of that are, I mean, and I know there's a lot of shows that try and pull that where they're like, a lot of your learning's done on the job. It's like, well, not all of it,
Yeah, I
and not
mean,
not most of it.
yeah.
But hey, man, if it works, that's pretty cool because then that kind of circumvents, I guess, the need for quote unquote traditional training,
Right.
and which a lot of is probably not super
Well,
necessary.
It's
Well,
two birds with
a
one
lot of
stone, right? Because like you get quote unquote experience on your resume plus training,
Mhm.
like at the same time. So,
yeah,
and I mean, it's experience on a notable project as well. So I'm sure other studios will see
Yeah,
that
I mean,
and be like, oh, not bad.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure the artist will win out on this. Like, generally, I mean, compared to other shitty fucking job, like super shitty jobs in like Japan, right? Which is becoming the par for an animator because of the supply. Um, but I'm also kind of thinking like, it might make the film suffer. It might end up being a bit sketchy, but they might also be
at the
kind of
very least, their studio's going to suffer. Like their studios are easily taking a hit from the like.
yeah.
Then there's
Very
no gain.
I mean, they also might be investing for the future where it's like even beyond just like this Miyazaki, like last Miyazaki film. Like they might just be like, oh, this is the quote unquote new generation of Team Ghibli or something like
I
that.
mean, that's a
Maybe,
fucking long road.
Yeah, but they're
maybe,
also hiring in betweeners.
maybe like, oh, this is the last Miyazaki film. Let's burn all our fucking money because the studio's not gonna last after.
Yeah.
That's true too.
Instead of giving it to charity, we're just gonna spend it all on fucking Hooker's Blow and poor artists. Like,
Oh yeah,
No, that is the charity. Their charity is
that
for
is the charity,
animators.
go down in a blaze of glory.
yeah. When animators are more pitiable than hobos, not like this.
Feels
What do
bad.
you mean? They are.
They are hobos
You've
already.
seen teeth.
Oh, geez. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. Next piece of news. I just wanted to bring this up because fucking I know somebody's going to bring it up if I don't. Naruto Boruto Ninja Voltage game app Headless.
West. Ah,
In
hell yeah.
Japanese, it's also I think it's called like the voltage is in like essentially with like a bow sound, so it's boru touch with a name. Haha.
Oh,
More like bad touch.
God, yeah. But yeah,
Yeah, that's
more
right, dog.
Naruto, Boruto games coming to you.
Or,
As a flavor.
oh, voltage, like voltage. Ah, I get it.
The Fortress Action Ninja Battle Strategy game.
What does fortresses have to do with ninjas?
The Fortress Action Ninja Battle Strategy game will be free to play with the option to purchase in-game items. Players will be able to create a fortress, set traps, and attack fortresses of other players from around Japan. The game will feature quote-unquote super high quality character
Are
illustrations.
they like, this is my is someone gonna name it Konoha? Then another dude's like,
Yeah, I know.
no,
Like a million people are
this
gonna
is the
name
real
it.
Konoha. Then they attack each other.
It's like Idolmaster. It's like I am the real Konoha P. Like is that like everybody's shit. So I
Kinda.
don't know.
I don't know. I don't like fortress game. Boring.
I mean, it's gonna be another shitty
If
mobile
I
game.
wanted a fortress game, I just play the Buster Quest on PSO2.
Got
Hey, you like that, Dark?
Yeah, dude.
it.
no.
Okay, well, moving on. There's another sort of film I do want to draw attention to because it is you know sort of like a hit in Japan, and if it does come over or if it does can translate, I think people should take notice of it. After Kimi no Nawa, after In This Corner of the World, which is actually coming out in October on Blu-ray. There's another film that was sort of released very recently, or aired recently in theaters. Studio Shaft, actually, by Shinji Iwai, called Uchiage Hanabi, Shita Kara Miruka, Yuko Kara Miruka, or also known in English as Fireworks. Should we see it from the side or the bottom?
Sounds good.
The or oh wait, it wasn't. So Shaft made it, but the anime film adaptation was from director Shinji Iwai's 1993 live-action drama of the same name.
I get it because Shaft has the head tilt, so that's the side part. Get it?
No.
No,
You know
God
the
damn it.
Shaft head tilt where they're
No,
looking
I
at it.
know what you're talking about.
Is that
Don't,
why they're looking at it from the side and the bottom instead of looking at it straight?
God, I hope not. But yeah, so revealed the staff that made this anime revealed, or the movie rather, revealed a stage greeting event on Saturday that the film earned 170 million yen, or about 1.5 1.56 million US dollars at the Japanese box office on its opening day on Friday. The film sold 133,000 tickets on Friday, and it's expected to earn a total of 4 billion yen, or 36.6 million USD at the Japanese box office. The film will be distributed in 110 countries and regions. So yeah, uh,
Do you think they watched this movie because Kana Hanazawa is in it?
isn't she just a teacher in this one as well?
Isn't that enough? Why do you think we get freaking Dark General on Shadowverse? It's because Kana Hanazawa voices her.
Kill me. But yeah, this is essentially a relatively standard rom-com kind of rom-com. I guess more romance heavy. No, it's actually fully romance. I apologize. It's like romance drama kind of thing. So if you like that, if
Oh.
you
Oh. Okay. This is what I was. Okay. I was wondering why this looks so familiar, but
yeah,
it's because Daoko is doing the theme
theme song.
song,
Yeah,
and I like Daoko, so
yeah.
Your
Yeah,
dog likes Falco
there's
too.
a decent amount of money going into it. It's again by Shaft. It was made in Shaft. So
Do you like Dalco because they did the theme song for Rage of Bahamut Virgin Soul?
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say probably not. But yeah, it's done by Shaft. It looks pretty gorgeous as Shaft stuff tends to do, and it's based upon a pretty solid. Seem The premise seems pretty standard sort of like romance drama. So please check it out if you did like stuff like Kimi no Na or In This Corner of the World or whatever. Another hit movie, wouldn't hurt to check it out, so on. So yeah, when it does come out, or translate it rather, please check it out. Or on BD, whatever. On the studio front, there are two small pieces of news here. One is that the anime director Tensho, who did who was the head director for Kinino Mosaic, also known as Kinmoza, and its sequel, all three Grisaya anime, which is not necessarily props, but whatever. Both seasons of Rewrite, again not real props, but he he has decided to launch a new animation studio called Biburi Animation Studio. Studio is named after the town of Bibury in England. Studio opened a website which is streaming a promotional video for the studio, although the site currently requires a password to access. But okay.
Wow,
The
how
new,
secretive.
the new studio also confirmed that it will produce the upcoming television anime of Frontwing's Messiah Phantom Trigger. Tensho is returning to direct the series. So yeah, if you did like Grisaya, if you did like Phantom Trigger, which is pretty different, I think, from the original Grisaya series, although I haven't read the visual novel myself. It is available, I believe, in English on Steam, so do check it out. And I guess watch out for the anime. The other one is Amon. Amon is a hybrid Chinese-Japanese like animation like film or whatever. Transfers its majority stake in anime studio. So Amon Animation Company, a Chinese-Japanese film firm, or sorry, Chinese/Japanese hybrid firm, announced on Friday that it transferred its entire majority stake in the anime studio Artland to the Tokyo-based company Levels on July 12th. Amon transferred its 51% stake in its consolidated subsidiary Artland, while Artland president Kunihiro Okano retains his 49%. So, in its press release, Amon explained that its long-term goal is developing the Chinese animation business based upon respect for Japanese animation production practice. It invested in Artland after 2015 as a bridge to that goal. However, Amon added that more than 1 year after its investment, unanticipated difficulties facing an overseas company restructuring an Japanese anime studio became clear. After discussions within Amon and with Artland's president, Amon decided to transfer its stake to enhance Artland's future prospects and value. So yeah, unsurprisingly, it's very hard to break into the Japanese industry or to do anything, related sort of like overseas. Just because I'm not gonna call it nepotism necessarily, but like a lot of the whole like studio stuff and like, who's going where, who's directing what, who's writing what, what people you can call stuff. They've already kind of set it up over there, right? It's like everybody's connected in some degree. So understandably, it would be very difficult to break into that. So unfortunate, but hopefully Amon finds, I guess, more success in other ventures. What do you guys think about this sort of like thing? Because Amon did what did they do? They did something very recent. Didn't they do like they did that thing where it's like uh the Chinese like hacker thing where they like broke into a bank or no, the fucking Bloodivores. Didn't they do like Bloodivores or something like that? But
I don't know, man. You're the one that watched that shit. I didn't want to
Yeah,
touch
man,
that.
I don't watch your Chinese nerd shows.
Yeah,
yeah,
because they
but
Chinese cartoons.
yeah, but they did some like weird Chinese, I believe, like originally Chinese stories, but sort of animated in Japanese anime fan manner. But it's a good try. But again, the issue has always been breaking into the industry. So fortunate, but again, I hope they have better luck next time, whatever venture they choose to go into. So yeah, Blood of Wars was definitely Chinese. I just didn't know if it was made by Amon or not. Okay. This is a pretty funny one. Yeah, you want to read this one out loud? The title?
What? Damn, that's pretty cool. Life-size unicorn Gundam statue debuts on September 24th with quote transformation unquote.
Self.
Wow.
I wanted. I should.
I
I wanted
liked how
self.
you asked Nier, who doesn't like Gundam, instead of me,
Yeah.
who actually likes
What?
Gundam.
Fuck you,
Yeah,
dude. I like Gundam.
Fucking hates it.
Fucking asshole.
How
I
can you
wanted.
like
I wanted
Gundam
self to come in
if
and
you
like read
don't like
this.
Knights and Magic?
That's
So
not
I
even
mean-
Gundam.
That's not
How can you like Gundam if you didn't watch Gundam or
magic.
what was it? What's that show? Iron Blooded Orphans with me.
Because Iron Blooded Orphans was
I did.
fucking bad.
I did watch Iron Blood Orphans though.
And season 1,
Good chunk of it.
season 2 was not.
How
so
can you like Gundam if you did not get the Gundam references in Knights and Magic?
how could you like?
How could I
not
get
like-
the references if I didn't watch Knights and Magic?
Well, why
How
didn't
could
you?
how could you understand
Exactly.
anything
Why
about
Why didn't you
robots?
watch it? Why didn't you watch Knights and Magic if you heard there were references?
Yes, yeah,
Hmm?
yeah.
Obviously
I-
not a true Gundam fan.
I didn't even hear there were references, but okay. Fuck you, assholes.
Exactly, not true Gundam fan. You didn't even know about the
Yeah,
references.
we talked about it last week though, or last podcast.
I wasn't.
Yeah, because
Wow,
you were
see-
too busy not liking Gundam.
Dude, I've seen.
You're a fucking retard, Toast. Okay. Fuck you.
How can you like Gundam if you lived in Canada and you missed the podcast?
How can you say you like Gundam if you won't even eat or poop, dude? Are you serious?
You're right.
Nice old meme.
Oh Jesus! But yeah, I've seen this construction video, and I'm like kind of confused about how it's gonna transform. Like it's like they're like
It's
building-
it's
and,
gonna
like, it's-
transform into a pile of scrap
yeah,
because it's gonna fucking break.
Wow, Spire, how can you say you like Gundam and tell Nier that he likes Gundam if he doesn't know what destroy mode looks like?
God, yeah.
Gonna
I wonder.
fucking destroy
I wonder if
itself.
the transformation is gonna involve a whole bunch of people just like swarming around the robot trying to like push it to another pose. or something.
Well, the original one could move its head and like open up on the middle.
Yeah, you think
But
it's gonna be like that?
destroy mode is quite a quite a few
yeah.
steps away from
Changing modes is a little different from the chest opening up.
that. Like fucking destroy mode. Like I'm thinking of the helmet. I like the helmet alone. I'm just like it's like
The whole-
30 moving parts.
What if somebody like like what if some stupid person decides to like run underneath like during the destroy mode or something?
Well, then they are very dead.
Yeah, destroyed, dude.
They're
Nice,
fucking
nice,
destroyed.
nice.
But like
They got that astral finish on them.
yeah, but it's like this is gonna be like I think first of all it's gonna be pretty like dangerous if it doesn't work out for obvious reasons. And second of all, like if it's gonna you know how there's this like
It's good.
there's this like exhibition with like this like fire breathing dragon or something like that, right? Somewhere, I believe. Like there's like a dragon's mouth that like I don't know whether it moves around, but it shoots out fire or something like that. Like during the exhibition.
Wait, do you think
Yeah.
destroy mode shoots out fire? Because all it does is
No,
it
no,
opens up
what-
compartments and reveals the psycho frame underneath.
No, what I'm saying that like fire breathing design itself is relatively simple, right? But even that took probably a huge amount of effort to like do anything with. But like this thing, as Dark said, like I can't like this. It's gonna be funky, like going into like fully different modes.
Well, because if
Yeah,
I mean, it's gonna have a jank ass. Like it's got to. Well, I mean, maybe not the armor plates parts of it,
There's
but
like a
the
construction
helmet.
crane that's like coming through like during the transformation.
No, like I mean, I can see it doing it by itself, but the helmet at least is gonna be like whacked. Like it's gonna have to just like open up from the middle or something. Because if you watch the Perfect Grade video, like the way Unicorn's helmet changes is that the whole fucking thing flips in on itself, and it's like that's not happening. there is no way that shit's
mean,
happening.
If you watch the construction video when they're putting the arms and stuff in, you can see that there's very obviously, like gears and stuff to make them move. But I mean, moving your arms is a little different from changing fucking modes. I don't see how they're gonna do that, but it'll be a sight to see, I guess.
Yeah, good luck.
Well, I mean, a lot of Gundam. I mean, a lot of Unicorns like mode change is just the armor plates coming out, so it's like they can do that. I can see them doing that pretty easily. But like the helmet, the fucking head, dude.
Yeah, the
Like,
Session just posted a video of like the head part where it's just
the
like,
head part flips apart, like fucking the sides turn and spin and shit. I mean for you, like the original one, yeah, it's just its head. Oh, okay, so that's like a okay, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just gonna like probably flip down the middle, honestly, and the faceplate's probably gonna open, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's still gonna be pretty fucking cool though.
But yeah, hopefully it's going to work out well. There aren't going to be any weird like events, like somebody dying during the transformation. But yeah, we'll see. If it does work out, I'll be super super cool. So, and finally, before we just get to the single piece of presents, we have some random idol shit. All of them pretty bad. First of all, again, the AKB48 founder Akimoto Yashi's produced idol unit, the whole thing that like transcends dimensions or whatever, 22/7, unveiled their CG music video. It is fully CG. Let me repeat this again. It is fully CG.
Are the idols CG?
Just looks that real, huh?
So the idols never existed in the first place? It's like Hatsune Miku, if it's all CG?
Yeah, it's just like honestly, it just looks like
You know, when I see CG like this, you know how people always complain about like, oh, CG anime is like all stuttery and shit because it's trying to emulate fucking 2D animation and shit. But this is like all smooth and stuff, right?
yeah,
When I see CG animation like that's actually smooth like this,
yeah,
and it's not like something that's like you know, the Final Fantasy movies or something where it's, like really, really fucking detailed CG.
no,
This just looks really cheap to me.
yeah, because it's just like it's essentially just dolls moving smoothly throughout the landscape, right?
Yeah.
It's
Like at least when CG is trying to emulate 2D animation, I feel like there's something
there's a
like
spontaneity.
more there, There's some sort of effort to try to look like something.
Yeah.
Well, it's also the fact that there's like you take the frame rate paired with the same type of mimicking timing for 2D animation.
Yeah.
So it's like with this, it's like since these people were like scanned and shit like that, it's not mimicking the timing and motions of 2D animation. It's just doing 3D animation that was captured, like motion captured
Yeah,
entirely.
Yeah.
So one for one with like this types of stuff looks fucking weird.
I mean, first of all, I don't like. I've never gotten how this is really any different from Love Live or whatever, or Idolmaster or whatever. I mean,
Because of its graphics, dude.
yeah, it's just like I don't really understand. I don't know. Like I mean, presumably they're gonna have live concerts with these idols, right? They're not gonna have they're not.
Well,
It's
they
not gonna
did.
be like
They did. That was
yeah.
what
It
this
was
is. It was
yeah.
like it was a live concert, and then they captured the performance for the characters that they played.
Yeah,
It's
so
like a
at the end of the
2-in-1.
day, they just performed on stages themselves. So it's essentially Love Live. Like it's essentially Love Live. So I don't know. It's real confusing to me. I just don't really understand what sort of unique niche that they're aiming for. I mean, if it's another
They're
idol game,
not.
it's
They're
another
trying to get
idol.
money from Love Live.
Yeah, exactly. So it's um a funny thing I just wanted to mention, just like title. Like I don't even want to talk about it, but it was Manila-based AKB48 spin-off group MNL48 collaborates with ABS-CBN for talent search.
Too many fucking.
So yeah, ABS-CBN is like a media like news kind of company thing, and they're working with MNL48 to launch talent search for the group. It's apparently going to be the first, I guess, Manila-based Japanese idol group, which is funky, but yeah. And then this was unpleasant news from a long while ago. Live action Idolmaster Korea shows Blu-ray DVD to have English subtitles. Like people want to watch this. Idolmaster Korea is just a show slash, I guess, like a project, multimedia project based around it's like, how do I even describe this? It's like the group itself is like Japanese idols, but like, or like the structure is supposed to be like a Japanese idol, but like most of the members are South Korean, and then the the initial show based around is about them working as Korean idols in the Korean idol industry. Like I don't know what the fuck's going on, honestly, with this shit, but it's apparently a
I
thing.
I thought the Korean Idol Masters like just straight up they just use the name obviously,
Yeah, they just
and
use the
that's
name,
it.
but it's essentially Korean drama. Like that's literally it.
Yeah, they just use the name for publicity's sake.
Yeah, it's fucked up, honestly. But yeah, for those of you who are interested in AKB48 and Idol Unit, the new Idol Unit 22/7 or Idol Master Korea, those are check those out. That just made me depressed saying that. On the people news, we have Nonaka Ai has recently married. She voiced Sakura Kyoko in Madoka Magica. She did Konoe Konoka in Negima, or Sayonara Zetsubou Sensei's Kafka Fura, or Kafka. Another's Yukari Sakuragi, and Klanat's Fuko Ibuki, who is like the starfish girl, right?
Hit Toge.
Dozo.
So yeah, she married obviously outside the industry, random person, but yeah,
Was it you?
yes, it was me. It was actually pretty funny that in the video apparently she said, Nolaka said that she got a bit anxious when her fellow voice actresses Akemi Kanada and Ryoko Shiraishi, or Akemi Kanada known for stuff in she did a lot of like emo stuff. What did she do?
Damn. A big list.
Yeah, she did sort of like she did like Kagurazaka Asuna and Negima. She
Did they?
did
Huh.
what did she do? She did Nanako, and she did
Oh,
Nanako
hell
P4
yeah.
Persona 4. So yeah, stuff like that. And Ryoko Shiraishi, she did, I believe she did Yamada in Working and stuff. So yeah, I do believe she did Yamada in Working. Some other stuff here.
You forgot
She
about
did.
her most important role, Sakiko Watanabe in Little Busters.
Oh, she did Hayate in Hayate no Gotoku. Yeah, she does a lot of voice roles, I think, too. But yeah,
She also
uh,
was. Uh, how do I read this? Yes.
Okay.
but yeah.
Congratulations.
But yeah, so she said that she got a little bit anxious when her fellow voice actresses Akemi Kanda and Ryoko Shiraishi got married before her. Marriage was never really a priority for her. She had never much interest or particular goals in mind as far as marriage. But then she was just like, I'm getting older, stuff like that. Yeah. Again, please congratulate her on her marriage, or I guess her upcoming
Tanjobi
marriage.
Omedetou. Oh wait, that's
Omedetou.
birthday.
That's not, that's the wrong, that's fucking birthday, dude. Uh, but yeah. So please congratulate her on her marriage, and best wishes to her moving forward. With that, we are done with the news, and we are moving on to shoutouts and callouts. Shoutout is one thing that you want to talk about. Give 5 stars on Yelp. Make food porn about. Hire chef to make a movie, whatever. Something that you want to talk up about, and it can be one thing, one anime, one manga, one food, one person, any one thing. And call out is exactly the opposite. There's one thing that you want to insult or rant about, and it can be one thing, one object, one nation, one body of water, whatever it is.
One punch.
Fuck you. And you get one shout out and one call out. We'll start with Nier.
Oh, shit. Um, shit, I don't know. Shoutouts to what was it? What number was it? Fucking Comic Cat. What is it now? 92?
Yes, I believe 92 or 93.
Shoutouts to Comic Cat 92. There's some pretty good music coming into that. And callouts to I don't know, being poor
Being poor? Fuck being
sucks.
poor, yeah. Yeah, it's Summer Comic in 92, and then the Winter Comic would be 93.
Yeah.
Okay, good shit, good shit. Alright, so Toast, you are next.
Hello.
Shout us call us, please.
My shout out is today.
What?
It's National Dog Day.
Ah, okay. And your call
Tomorrow.
out? Not dog, not National Dog Day.
Tomorrow's my birthday, apparently.
What the fuck?
Humanito.
Why wasn't National Dog Day the same day as my birthday? So I can get my dog a birthday cake and lie about it.
Can your dog eat a birthday cake?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
You ever
That's,
make a meat
that's
cake
wild.
fire?
Meat cake? No.
Oh, then
That sounds fucking grotesque, dude.
I could say, hey,
That's a
I
scene
don't.
from Euphoria, by the way. Meat cake.
Wow, I wouldn't know, weirdo.
Gee. Near would.
My second shout out is to the
Fucking-
people who drew Asanagi's
Second shot.
Kurosa-chan.
Excuse me.
Shout outs to
Yeah.
the people who drew fan work of Asanagi's fan work of that dude who tried to kill him. Or threatened to
Oh
kill him.
yeah. As somebody, so Asanagi, also known as Fatal Pulse. I don't know whether that's his name or not. Draws a lot of very I'm not not grotesque, but very like caricaturistic, sort of gory. Involves a lot of violence.
He draws nice eyes and boobs.
Yeah, he has certain things, but he has a very like oftentimes like a lot of gory scenes, 18 plus kind of. I mean, like
I
beyond
wouldn't know,
sexual, but like
pervert.
violent scenes. And somebody apparently threatened to kill him, the artist, over Twitter. And,
Wasn't it
he
about
responded.
his that train one where he didn't like the way women were portrayed in that train one?
Yeah,
I mean,
apparently,
every time Fatal Pulse draws something, women are not treated very nicely.
apparently it was a foreigner this time though, and that's why it was special. So
Because
he
couldn't do
drew
anything, or, like,
because in the train dojin he made, it's a foreigner getting like molested on a train, and then
okay.
she ends up enjoying it or whatever. You know, typical dojin shit.
Yeah,
And apparently somebody from the West got all fucking mad at him and threatened to kill him, and then he started
her
making fun of
over
her.
there, really? Wow, that's her. It was her.
Apparently.
My God. Why was she even reading Asanagi Dojo, right? Like, first of all, why was she reading Asanagi?
Maybe
People look
for the
for
art.
stuff to get mad at, Spire.
Maybe they wanted
Like,
to do
like
it for
this,
the art, Spire.
like,
It's
let me
very
elaborate.
nice
Like,
art.
Asanagi, like, mind. Let me explain something. Let me fucking explain to these retards out there. Like, mind break. The tag might like dojins like on sites and stuff like that often have like tags on them to explain like describe what category they're in, and so you can search for other similars, right? Just like a regular search. The tag mind break on Asanagi's dojins are the nicest, are often the nicest of his tags. Like the fact that anybody would go in and be like,
What's the worst kind? I wouldn't know.
I mean,
Where they get fucking
depends on
murdered.
yeah, it depends on what you think is the worst kind. Some people think, well, there are a whole bunch of stuff. But anyway, point is, like, Asanagi is one of the people artists that go into the deep end, especially with regards to women being portrayed in various manners, not necessarily all pleasant. In fact, none of them pleasant. um, and to expect anything out of this artist, like, huh, I wonder if he'll treat women decently in this dojo. Like, who are you? Who are you? But
I'm a foreigner, therefore you must listen to me.
you must respect. Yeah, you must respect foreigners.
Respect my authority.
Yeah, but yeah, that's pretty funny that happened that way though. With Asanagi, he knew how to take it in stride. But then
I
again,
mean,
it's Asanagi.
it's a cute girl. What do you expect?
Yeah, that's true. All right. So with that said, we'll move on to Dark. Sean's call us, please.
Shout out to Final Fantasy 15. Because I'm almost done with that game, I think, now, the main story. And I played some of the DLC. Well, I played one of the DLCs, and it was pretty good. And the main game's pretty darn good. And it's getting a free Assassin's Creed update this week.
Yeah, I saw that.
It is weird as fuck, but it looks pretty cool. So I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm for it. I'm for that free stuff. So that looks fun, and Comrade fun.
How would you compare it to an Asanagi Dojin?
Shut the fuck. up.
Pretty vanilla, dude.
All right.
Does Asanagi have any like gay boy band dojins?
Yes.
If he made a game, I would like legitimately. I would send him money. Like I would like PayPal him if he did that.
That'd be
If
pretty
he
good.
did it, if he did that in the style that he draws like the girls like getting rolled. I would find that. But yeah. Okay, and your call?
My call out's gonna be to people who complain about fucking basic ass inputs in fighting. Like, not about them not being able to do it.
Can you map a
'Cause I'll be
fireball to
like,
L2?
I'll be like, man, yeah, like, cause I'll be like, man, I can't do this input. I gotta fucking actually try and do it.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. I have a real call out now.
But like, I've seen more than one person who specifically was like, yeah, why can't you map it to L2? You know, it limits it. And then someone called them out for it. Well, multiple people called them out for it. Why don't you just? The best tweet was this person who's an artist saying, "I know more about practice and patience than you ever will." And it's like, okay, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, compared to Daigo or any fucking, like top Evo player, no, you don't you don't know the same fucking version at least of practice and patience, because it's like it's two very different things. Like fucking drawing and doing pretty much any art, even like 3D sculpting, anything like that, like the patience and practice it takes is it's up there, but it's not the same as getting good at a fighting game.
Yeah.
It's like you need to have split second react, train yourself in that, predictions, and just like there's just a ton of shit. Like they're not comparable in that way. It's like
my favorite one
plus
was
if you're well, before I let you get to that, my closing thing on that is like, if you're gonna complain about a fucking fireball input at this point, like you're not playing this fighting game in general. Like you're not gonna go into frame data. You're not about to go into fucking like to see what's really wrong with the game of balancing fucking hitboxes, hurt boxes. Like if you don't even want to do like a basic fucking fireball, then you're not gonna get anywhere else.
Yeah, it's step one of many. But
You ever try to press down and down at the same time? It's pretty hard, you know.
My favorite one was somebody tweeted like a GIF or like a small clip of them just holding a controller. They're just like they just like do the direction and then they try to find the button and they're like fuck it. They just throw the controller down on the bed. But yeah, those are.
You ever try to do 66236B 236B 236B 66214D?
Yeah, not like this.
Because I have to do that in all of my goddamn combos.
You ever try to do Kohaku Super in a match? It's pretty hard.
Jesus. That's why I play a character that just goes down, down, down into victory, dude.
Play Rising Thunder.
Play Rising Thunder. Anyways,
why don't you just play Smash Brothers?
What was
all your supers are one button in one direction.
That's true.
Oh, I love that band.
What was your real call out here?
My real call out was the Final Fantasy Dissidia closed beta started last night, and it's pretty fun. It's a very, very smooth game compared to the PSP versions. The UI is fucking atrocious, but it's very fun. But I was talking about it with someone, and the guy was like, you know, I remember why I stopped playing Dissidia on the PSP games because the inputs had directions on them, and I asked him like, what do you mean by that? He's like,
Yeah.
oh, like the moves don't flow, like it's not like a hack and slash. I'm like, well, the city has never been like a hack and slash. It's not about combos or anything. It's like, yeah, I know, but I wish it was. I wish it was more like the Gundam games. I was like, but the city is more about movement. It's not about like hitting the opponent as much as you can. It's like, yeah, but I wish it was. I'm like, so you wish it was a completely different game then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish
He's like- he's
Dissidia
like-
was a fucking.
He's like, yeah, I guess I do. It's like, then why don't you play something else? Oh, I want to play this.
God damn it.
I wish
Well,
Dissidia was a warrior game,
If
man.
you want to play it, stop wishing for it to be a completely different game.
I wish Dissidia was a Dark Souls game.
Like, why would somebody go into a game and just go,
I
man,
wish it was a different game.
I wish this was a different game,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna keep fucking playing it.
You can say the same thing about anime this season. Wow, I wish smartphone was like
Good.
Knights and Magic. And I'll keep
was a
watching
decent series.
it. Ah.
Or you could say, wow, I could not watch smartphone.
Anyways, yeah, I guess I'm up next, or I'm up last for.
That's it for this podcast.
Hey, fuck you. But my shout out real quick is just gonna be to my pretty decent RNG I've gotten into. Well, I've always been on and off about School Fest, Love Life School Idol Festival, or School Fest as it's called, rhythm mobile game. Um, which I haven't had the best of luck in recently in terms of getting good like rare drops. But then I started playing the Idolmaster games. One is called Million Live Theater Days, and the other one is called Cinderella Girls Starlight Stage. And I've gotten pretty
Who'd you
good
get?
like what?
Who'd you get?
I re-rolled my starter 28 times, which is not too bad, and I got a super rare, which is SSR, which is the highest rarity in the game, which is
Who'd you
pretty
get?
difficult.
Who'd you get?
It was Shiki. It was the perfume like
That's
smell.
not Jogasaki Mika.
Dude, well, I mean, I'm lucky to have only rerolled 28 times to get SSR, to be quite honest. But I got pretty lucky, and then I got some other SSRs and rare stuff in
Like
the
who?
game.
Like who? We know Idolmaster things, right?
Yeah,
Guys?
well, I'll talk about it later, okay? Not right now. But call out wise, I wanted to fucking call out. God damn, I wanted to call out someone. I really fucking it flew out of my head because
Wait,
you wanted me to specify. Wait, okay.
is it that guy with that blog that you guys like?
No.
Dog with a blog.
Dog with a blog. Uh, fuck. What was I gonna? God damn it, those. Oh my god. Um.
I'll wait.
Okay, I
Awkward
just want.
silence. But I'll wait.
I wanted to call out fucking the Terasute or Starlight Stage for having fucking it like made an update, but then the update apparently broke like internet connections. Like it made downloading an internet connections like 10 times worse. So and this is like during an event, like 2 days before an event closes. So everybody was pretty much panicking. So fuck you guys for introducing an update just before the event ends that fucks everybody's computers up or everybody's devices up.
Ha ha ha! Because it's a phone game.
Yeah, it's
You're playing it on your phone, right? Ha ha ha!
Yeah, it's good. But yeah, that was my call out. But yeah, with that, we are done with all the segments for today. It's quite a long segment because we did have Nier back on. We had covered 4
Well,
shows.
welcome back, Near.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Well,
Yeah, how
welcome
dare
back
you.
from your maple syrup prison.
Welcome back from painting Gundam.
Fuck you.
Uh, but yeah, with that we are done. And again, if you do like what we do this every other Saturday at 10 p.m. Starting from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on twitch.tv/4PlayAnimecast with a number. We're talking about the latest and greatest in anime, games, visual novels, web novels, light novels, all the other sort of common Japanese media forms. And we sometimes stream games on here too as well. Some other stuff, sidecasts, etc., etc., etc. You can follow us here, and obviously follow us on our social media, Facebook, and as well as on Twitter at 4PAnimecast. Also with a number. You can also bookmark our website at 4PlayerAnimecast.moe, where we store all of our content in both YouTube, Twitter, or sorry, Twitch, and MP3 format for our on-the-go listening. Available also on iTunes and Google Music. And we also have some other content on there that you guys might want to check out. And yeah, again, the schedule will be the next episode should be a regular show, and then the episode after that should be a preview show. And if you get ready for that, then after the preview show, calm before the storm, right? Preview show will be on the 23rd. Most fall series should be starting from 30th of September, so that'll give us a good week's worth of birth. So yeah, till then, see you next time.